right, I think we are live.
I never know if we're live.
Yeah, it doesn't make a real big deal about it, but we are. All right, folks. Who is ready for Super Magical Cup Invitational number 10, week 10 of season 2?
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought we were going bowling.
No, we're going to see some people going bowling, but not us today. Check this out, folks. We are super excited about the continuing renovation of the Super Magical Cup scene. We are finally on a mobile device. We've got little iPad-y here in front of us.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
This is great. Yeah, I don't know if they can actually see it, but trust me, there's a little iPad right here. And what's good for you fine folks is that means we're going to see our matches a little bit wider. Got a little more screen space, get some elbow room for these players.
We need to start charging tickets for the HD experience of Super Magical.
Oh, this is Super Magical HD. We've even got consistent fonts, buddy. We are a pretty professional operation now.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited to see how this is going. Vert36 says, "Hey, dads." I guess we are papas to the Clash Royale competitive community. Rainy, I think, is truly the godfather of competitive Clash Royale, as the Super Magical Cup was the first tournament series ever run, right?
Very true.
Rainy might be responsible for all this.
Very true.
Patriots34 says he can't play today. The CRL finals are happening. It's very unfortunate. Patriots will not be able to defend his title. I do know that Clash Wars is in the finals, so good luck to Clash Wars and all of the other Clash Wars competitors. Let's take a look. Matches should be starting very, very soon here. So let's go take a look at who's battling in this week's Super Magical Cup.
Wow, and right at the top of the bracket, we've already got some very interesting names now. The first four, Strider, Ruffy, Yusuf, Brian RT. I've seen, especially Brian RT is a name that sticks out to me.
He top 4'd 2 weeks ago. He's a member of Reddit Troopers. I remember he was playing, he's kind of like Marcel P, I know that you're a person you're a fan of, and that Brian RT was playing kind of down the line meta decks, but played them very expertly, had a lot of good technical play, and made it to the top 4 2 weeks ago.
What's interesting to me is all these players who are playing meta decks at this point in time, the meta is just being smashed apart right now. And
really, this is the last day, according to my watch here, it's going to be the last time you can play meta decks, because the meta is going to be entirely upended on Monday with balance updates, new patch, new units. Really excited. What do you guys in chat think about all the balance updates and some of the other stuff? Hopefully, during this broadcast, we'll be able to share some really cool info with you, so make sure to stay tuned throughout the entire show. But we're really excited. What did you think, Rainy, about the Epic and Legendary chests that were announced this morning?
Oh my god, Epic and Legendary chests. I'm going to sit there waiting for my chest slots to unfill themselves so I can have a chance at getting them.
I'm really excited for the ability to buy the Epic chests and Legendary chests in the shop. I think that, so I have a free-to-play account, Rum Hamilton. Rum Hamilton, the free-to-play account, I think is going to benefit a lot from these changes, because the hardest thing for a free-to-play player is getting your epics to tournament cap. That's always been a really big challenge. Well, now, for 10,000 gold, which I think is very reasonable to save up once you're in like Arena 8, Arena 9, you can get these 10 epic chests, or 8, 9, 10, whatever epic chests, that are arranged in a way where it gives you a lot of one epic. It's like, you get 10, but it's like 1, 2, 7, right?
Yeah.
And getting 7 of the same epic is something that's really challenging, but whatever that epic is, you're probably really close to having it to tournament cap after getting that.
Absolutely.
The Legendary chest, I think, is awesome as well. For 500 gems, again, you can save it up, because we see free-to-play players saving up 500 gems and then buying like the tournament. Then they get their gems back. Well, then what do I do with the 500 gems? You could buy 10,000 gold, or you could get one of those Legendary chests. The coolest thing I like about the Legendary chests is that it's a Legendary from any arena. Any arena. So if you're in
anything.
If you're in Arena 5, you can open a Lumberjack from Arena 8 and get to try out Lumberjack kind of way before you're supposed to unlock that card, which is really, really, really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it just feels really good, because it lets you play an extended duration of time, and then you know that when there's an interesting thing coming up, like a Legendary chest or an Epic chest, or even one of the, I guess, some of the special deals that you would get on the shop, you have something to spend your money with that makes you feel good about it. So I really like that.
And I think that's a great way. I mean, they said they wanted to make Legendaries more accessible. I think it's a huge way to do it, especially because Legendaries only need to be level 1 in order to be tournament cap. So I think it's a great way for free-to-play players to get to tournament cap, because if you have the gems but you don't have any Legendaries, it doesn't matter which one you open. You're going to get it, right? Like you're going to get it up to tournament cap. Is the mic quality how? Let us know, guys. We have a new setup today, and We would love any amount of feedback you have on technical
Absolutely.
issues. If the sound's kind of whatever, let me know.
If it sounds like I'm...
Yeah, right? Audio weird for anyone else. So let us... What's the weird audio? Is it just too quiet? Because we can always turn things like that up.
Yes, we can fiddle the diddle.
New layout's real easy on the eyes, he says. All right, well, we're going to get into these matches real soon here.
We got a bunch. Oh my God, we got a bunch.
Oh man, these matches are wrapping up real quickly.
All right, let's... Ooh, I know what we should watch.
Why are you not in the bracket, asked Mason. I'm not really sure. If you have any questions about the bracket or the placement, make sure to message our admins. Discord is the best way to get a hold of them. If you get in the Discord chat, you can message the admins and try to figure out, what we can do. So let's take a look here. It's a little echoey. Oh, it's going to be a little echoey because we're in an echoey room, unfortunately. This is still our temporary studio until our new, good, awesome studio gets done. So we're in a little bit of an echoey room, and it's going to sound a little echoey. We can't do anything about that.
We did well for the duration of the first season and the second season, so they expanded our dungeon size a little bit. But
yeah, the dungeon got a little bigger. But no, Season 3, we're going to have a much more complete studio. I think you guys are really going to like it, so just bear with us for a few more weeks with the echoey. It says I'm a little quiet, which is the first time that's ever been said about me. Okay. First time anyone's ever said Rumham's a little quiet, folk. Before we get into the matches, let's take a quick look here at the participants. We've got Strider, Brian RT, ESLio, Marcel P. That's a big match right there. Right away, both of these players have top forward several times.
And we got Bakalol right there. And all of them are kind of in the same grouping. They're going to have to fight each other if they want a chance to qualify out into the playoffs.
A fan favorite, Clyde here, fighting True Sundan in the first round. Clyde would have to fight Patrick X King, who top-8'd last week in the second round if they both meet. Flash, a favorite of top players, is also here, also a big qualifier grinder. King K, the surprising breakout performer of last week. Remember, King K fought through 3 of the toughest people I've seen, falling eventually to Patriots 34, who went on to win the tournament.
Who's the winner, yeah.
So
Crazy run.
We're gonna keep an eye on King K this week. Sigi and Darth Jarjar in round 1. Darth Jarjar, a former finalist. Sigi, I believe, 2-time top 8er. Maybe at least a 1-time top 8er.
Skeleton Army's lightning kind of weirdo card player.
Next Google CEO is a big qualifier grinder. He's actually going to get a bye in round 1 because Patriots 34 can't play because of Clash Wars making the finals of CRL, so good luck to them.
Good luck.
Naruto Uzumaki, who also impressed people in the last few weeks. Bayou, last week's top 4 performer, is fighting Gray, a former top 4 performer. Yes. Palumbo of Elite Gaming, a big tournament player, is also fighting Justin for the win in the first round.
Back.
He's back. This is going to be quite the showing. We got Siegs and Trainer Nick. I know Trainer Nick's a favorite of yours. Manly, I believe, who top-8'd last week for the first time, unless it's a different Manly. Turtwig Data of the infamous Rocket Cycle deck here.
Oh my God, the
villain. He might have to fight Reddit Alpha clanmate Zadian here in the second round should they meet.
Wow, and then if they get to the last round, possibly Vizard is going to be his gatekeeper.
Woody's performing. All right, that's right. We've been a little bit of an absence of the #1 fan favorite Woody, as he's been broadcasting some other big tournaments around the scene, but he's back, and it'll be interesting to see what he plays in the last weekend of this current meta.
Return of the King.
Diego B, Giannis. Chicken Bob, we can't scroll down too much farther, but we got Chicken Bob of Rocket Inferno Miner fame and Stella Rim down here at the bottom. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Guys, we're going to turn off the bracket for a bit because people might be reporting their matches and spoiling it. So let's see if we can't get to the first match here.
Yeah.
Get right into it.
I got it.
You got one? Let's go.
I got one. And it's going to be a great one because there's 2 things that are really interesting to me. First, people are embracing the bowler in very, very, very comfortable fashion. They understand that the bowler is this tanky, slow, defensive card that lasts a long time, giving you the opportunity to play high elixir stuff, Inferno Tower, Crossbow, Rocket, even Rocket Mirror. And True Sundan is embracing that by playing an Inferno Tower Collector Bowler Crossbow deck.
Wow, this is really interesting because you're right. True Sundan's deck, if you just cover up the X-Bow with your eyes, it looks like the Minor Inferno control decks, but it seems like he wants to play super defensive and then use that elixir to, instead of convert it into like a Minor push or a Rocket, he's just going to set up an X-Bow. And I like, this is a variant on Turtwig Data's X-Bowler deck, as you remember. So that what we're going to look for here is the bowler of True Sundan guarding the X-Bow by keeping things off of it and rolling back. Clyde is going to try to use his bowler, I think, to counter the enemy X-Bow.
So what's interesting about Clyde today is that I think he's returning to his roots, because in the last few SMCs, Clyde has really been trying to push outside of this big body meta, and he's been experimenting with a lot of different things, and maybe he's buckling up and going to make a push for big results now. Remember,
you also have 2 decks in the tournament, right? So it's very possible that Clyde brought like a really weird, the Lava Hound Lumberjack minor deck that we sort of know him for, but then he needed a second deck and wanted to play it safe with Giant
That's
Poison.
very true.
It's a great deck. It's interesting because if he encounters too many air units, this version of Giant Poison looks like it could be problematic against air. So let's get this game started.
All right, let's get it started. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have...
Look at that elbow room.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, we got buildings along the side here and Legendary Arena. Not too bad.
My goodness. All right, Clyde on the top and True Sundan on the bottom. And we got Featured True Bowler is really going to have to do really well against that crossbow, taking up a lot of attacks. But Clyde has a double kind of tank from the Giant and Bowler. So I think he's going to be pretty okay having options to delay the crossbow as much as they can. The question is going to be whether it's going to have units or not.
That's right. And right away we see one of the reasons that these big tanky pushes have sort of fallen out of favor. With Inferno Tower and Ice Wizard, it's really hard to get some pressure through, but actually Clyde might have secretly low-key come out ahead of that there. He did damage to the tower, he did a lot to the collector as well, and he's even got the bowler here to hold off this X-Bow. Oh no! So now nothing's attacking the X-Bow.
Yep, and the level 3 bowler on True Sundan side is going to win in amazing fashion
with the support of the X-Bow. So here we go. Oh no!
That's not how that's supposed to go. Oh god!
The Giant comes down a little late. Now that he knows there's an X-Bow in here, I would expect Clyde to start holding either a Giant or Bowler for the X-Bow and then try to counterattack off that instead of, say, like, just pushing into the Inferno Tower that's going to wipe your push.
Zaps the Inferno, and this time has a Musketeer to try to assist the push, but still no damage done onto the tower. And that was a perfect example, Seth, or rather, that was a perfect example of why Poison is so good.
Absolutely.
Because even if that push failed like it did, Poison would have gotten damage on the tower.
And if you look, Clyde has a Giant in hand, so I expect him to be a little cautious about that Rage Bowler and the tower as well as going to do some good work. Clyde's sticking to the Collector plan, which is something that True Sundan has not been able to keep up with.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah, like actually True Sundan is in the driver's seat here. He should be able to get his pumps down, but it seems like he might be overspending on defense relative to what he should be doing. Like defending a bowler with a bowler, could he have gotten away with just an Ice Wizard there, saving 2 extra elixir that could be converted to a pump? You count too loud?
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
Is that quieter?
Yeah. Trying to fine-tune the... Oh my god, and this is actually going to be a pretty big push.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, and that Inferno Tower might turn around the Giant, and it does!
Nice. Freeze is one of the best ways to get rid of... Oh, but look at how effective that Giant is, despite the fact. And now the Poison is on top of the tower and going to slow it down. I'm curious why that didn't tag onto the bowler. I think in that situation, having it on the guards and the Ice Wizard, or at least attempting it, is not necessarily a bad idea, but on the bowler is really what you want, because you want the Giant to swing as many times as you can, and the bowler was the one that was damaging the Giant.
So great play by Clyde there to have his Giant up, but if you noticed, he actually did a really good placement on that Musketeer. Back there in that little corner, he was able to shoot the X-Bow instead of the bowler and take that thing down pretty quickly.
Man, but look at this. It was both the X-Bow on one, but on the left side, a level 3 bowler on its own took that tower down to 1260.
And it just shows that you can never really ignore those cards. Lumberjack comes up first, and if it dies to the Inferno Tower, it's just going to drop the Rage for the Giant. Oh, but the Inferno Tower doesn't go down. Oh, I'm sorry, the Inferno now goes down. And that oh no, Clyde's going to take it right here!
Oh!
The Rage Giant! Really hard to stop a Rage Giant, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and I really think that the crossbow play from True Sundan, I think it's a great idea, but against a deck that is double big body plus the Lumberjack was just a little bit too much. I think there are too many key cards in Clyde's hand that plays against that kind of deck. You have Poison, you have Giant, you have Bowler, you have Lumberjack, and all of these cards are really effective against kind of a turtly deck, especially when your win condition is crossbow.
Yeah, I think the big rub there is, I should just get back into, let's pick another match here, but Yeah, I definitely think that there's this challenge where once you've established you have an Expo, if they have a giant, they know what to do, right? Like they can hold their giant just for that, and it's hard for the Expo to actually crack through that.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
We got another
good
good one.
I'm so excited.
Oh, buddy. Tell us about Gray. I know you're a big fan.
Gray is the best Goblin Barrel player I have seen so far, and a lot of people were hitting on Goblin Barrel last week, Seth. I was so sad. They were talking about how Goblin Barrel was a waste of air.
And you're like, no, it's not true.
It's not true.
Goblin Barrel, so actually if you remember last week, Bayou also played Goblin Barrel. Was it Bayou?
Yeah, I think it was the bottom side of the semis.
Right.
Bayou, I think it was Bayou.
I want to say it was Bayou. So we had last week's Goblin Barrel player, and he made the top 4 of Goblin Barrel.
It was a Sigi type of Goblin Barrel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was using Goblin Barrel instead of Miner. I feel like Bayou probably didn't have access to Miner, was trying to use Goblin Barrel in the place. Made it very far, but he definitely got stifled in the top 4 by a player who's very prepared for Goblin Barrel. On the other hand, Gray, I know that you really like Gray as a Goblin Barrel player because he does a lot of mind games. He throws them short, throws them far. He doesn't always just drop them on the tower, which I think is pretty awesome.
All right, oh my god, and he is playing Bayou. I didn't even notice.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Gray v. Bayou. Oh, you didn't even notice that it was Bayou. I thought that's why you picked it, buddy. Let's go. Last week's top 4 against a prior top 4 opponent, both fans of the Goblin Barrel.
Let's do it.
And what might be worth looking at is Bayou, who is himself a big Goblin Barrel player, is he going to be extra good at defending Gray's next level Goblin Barrel game?
All right. Looks like, let's take a look at these starting hands. Doesn't look like Gray actually has any great options. He has Princess off 1 cycle, and so that's going to be really good. Minion Horde Miner, and this is a Woody special. Especially
with the Princess in the opposite lane, I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think you would just normally do that right off the bat, except that with the Princess in the other lane, you know that, like, even if he has Zap, which he did, he's not going to be able to finish off those collectors.
Big connection by Bayou, but here comes a counterattack, and this is what we're talking about, Miner plus Goblin Barrel, and this was something that Bayou didn't do with the Goblin Barrel that Gray does really well, and oh my god, look at how much damage that was.
Wow.
Goblin Barrel.
And they're just trading back and forth. I mean, both for the opening exchange, 50 seconds into the game here, both players have a kind of fragile-looking tower after that opening exchange. And it's crazy because both are Inferno Tower defense decks. Like, this is the sort of deck where they shouldn't be taking a lot of early damage, but both of them were able to just go under the other's defense and take them out. Let's see if Gray's Miner works a number on Bayou's Princess here.
Okay, so he actually doesn't have so minions are a pretty good answer, but the Miner will get a few swings, which when he comes to close to the end of the game, that actually matters.
The minions were a good distraction there. So Gray throws him down.
Oh, that's the Miner to get the one talking about.
I mean,
it was a little bit too close.
If that was one tile lower, like one tile further to Bayou's tray or whatever, I think that those goblins would have made it there and done some work.
And the big thing to notice is that Gray always plays it. So remember last week, even when Bayou made mind games with his Goblin Barrel, they were being shot down by the tower fairly quick.
Can we talk about that 1 for 5 right there? Yeah, oh my god. So Bayou just cast Minion Horde at the river, and just a very forward-placed Ice Spirit was enough to effectively zap them, right?
Yeah.
And wow, what a showing right there. That's a huge elixir advantage for Gray, which you can see he converts into a bowler. Like, if you just count the elixir in hand and on the board, Gray seems like he has a huge advantage. There's 8 elixir on the board for him.
Oh, interesting. He's going for the left side. Even though the damage on the right side is immense, I think he wants to force the elixir on the left while having the bowler free reign on the right side, but the Inferno Tower is going to be good enough to take it down. There was no zap on Gray's side.
Oh, wow. Gray, with the perfect timing there, that extra shot was a huge difference, because he could have taken a lot of damage on that left side tower if those Spear Goblins had survived.
Oh, interesting. Bayou actually commits poison on the minions to aid, and that's going to actually put him pretty far behind in elixir. I think this next push is very worrying for him. Oh, the guards, but Goblin Barrel, and he zaps it away, but that's one zap less to handle this bowler, and there's a princess in the back. Let's see. Double princess.
Oh, they guard. Oh, they do. Oh, Gray's princess game is on point right now. Oh, and those two might actually double. Oh, they're not going to. Wow.
But the minions might protect.
Oh, the princess. I mean, even if he died, he ended up killing Bayou's princess on top of that.
Interesting interaction. 726 on the left side and 534 on the right. But so far, Bayou has only really been able to get in with the Miner after the first push with Miner Minion Horde. Gray has been doing a good job to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And here comes the Miner. That's a little bit of chip damage. The zap needs to be on point right now, but that's the mind game.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Goblin Barrel.
The mind game, you're right, because you know that Goblin Barrel, you're like, I gotta have the zap ready. I can't like think about it 2 seconds after, and missing the zap there was the critical difference. I think Bayou actually had the tools to win that game, because when 2 Minor Inferno decks get to that moment where it's very, like, both towers have low health, I kind of favor the poison player, because Bayou had Minor Poison and Gray didn't, right? So you have the ability to throw your poison out there and just push through guaranteed damage, whereas theoretically Bayou could have, Bayou could have theoretically defended those miners and goblin barrels, but Gray used the mind games, got around it. Pretty impressive. Oh, we got a bunch of name players here. Can we get us some actually, that's pretty cool deck. That's something we don't see a lot of. Let's go to that last, or actually, I like that last game. That was good.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's weird ones. All right. Make sure we don't spoil it. All right.
Nice.
So we have the Flash, a regular member of the Super Magical Cup, who we see week to week, and Naruto Uzumaki, who top 4'd 2 weeks ago. We've got Giant Prince Poison for the blue team. Tell us about this Lava Hound deck. How does this Lava Hound deck work?
So Lava Hound with a bunch of minions is always talking about air superiority, and basically the 2 minions on their own is very interesting because they kind of bait for each other, right? The minion horde, if you want to use your spells on that, well, now you have minions, or if you want to use your spells on the minions, now you have to deal with minion horde, on top of the fact that you're going to have a prince that's constantly pelting your troops in the back line.
Yeah, you can tell that the Flash's deck is really going to try to catch people off guard who don't have a lot of air defense, right? Like, actually, if you look at it, Naruto's in kind of big trouble here because there's no Musketeer in his Giant Poison deck. Musketeer's usually like a staple of that archetype.
Yes.
But with only Poison, Zap, and Minions, I'm not sure how Naruto can defend against Lava Hound minions, Minion Horde, especially when you have things like Princess and stuff behind them providing support fire.
And of course, there's a very popular combination of Lava Hound Miner that we're always talking about, which is really, I think, the most effective way to guarantee effectiveness from your Lava Hound is to have that pop-up tank on Miner.
Hey, chat, I'm not mistaken. I know this isn't Lightning Bolt, Flash, Lightning Bolt, but the Flash also plays in the Super Magical Cup very regularly.
And so gets into the Invitationals.
And does get, that's right. He's a big, so he is, I understand there are 2 Flashes, but this is in fact one of the other Flashes.
We'll have to figure out which one is the most worthy of the name.
You know what? The Flash hasn't quite made a top 8 yet, so I think we're going to have to go with Shocky Flash.
Shocky Flash, yep.
All right, so Naruto has got a pretty good opening start. Would rather have the Collector in his opening hand, so the Flash has a little bit of an early advantage by being able to collect, but Naruto should be able to play the Giant kind of like a Collector. It's a good way to invest your elixir, put it away for the future, and you can use it in a little bit.
Ideally for Naruto, this push needs to do a good amount of damage to the tower. It needs to be enough to cover the bonus 2 elixir that the Flash is going to get, and also deny the... Okay, well, actually, Naruto is just going to commit to poison. We're just going to put it even. Prince against Barbies. Guards in the back are going to soak up a few barb shots, but that poison is really well placed by the Flash. Yeah,
I really liked how he used it as like a way to hold off the Naruto's backline, because those barbs, even though they did eventually get killed, they did a significant amount of damage to that. I mean, they killed the Giant, right? Like, without actually just getting cleaned up by whatever behind it. And, hey, look at that. He even gets to almost tie the game up. If that barb got one more swing off, I actually think Naruto would be behind in terms of trophy health.
Yes.
Or tower
So
health.
we need to think about the Flash, obviously... It's a neutral situation, and now they're going to handshake Elixir Collectors, so that's going to actually change up the line of play a lot. Miner comes in.
Good placement. Oh, and here comes the Minion Horde right after it, and what can possibly stop that? Oh, I like the Guards as just tanking, right? And then he'll attack the Lava Hound. But really, Naruto was completely denied a counter push there.
Oh, and 3 minions make it past. Wow. Nice. Very good.
So compare that. 8 Elixir for the Flash, 7 Elixir for Naruto, but he took a lot of damage for that 1 Elixir advantage.
Almost 1,000. Right. About 900 damage. That is very, very...
Is it Naruto? I'm sorry, I don't watch anime. Naruto. Yeah.
All right, Lava Hound minion, and this is what we're talking about. Okay, he has to commit poison to that, and I don't think that's really great because the pups are still a thing.
Right, and the pups are, it's one thing if you have a Musketeer there, because the Musketeer can help burn down the Lava Hound quick enough that the poison is still active when the pups come out, but right now it's gone, right? So we're going to see these pups come out, and that Lava Hound's going to take a lot of damage. He has to take this tower here on the left in order to really make it valuable, and he doesn't.
So Pups on its own without the mini tank is actually pretty effective, as we just saw. Took down that right side tower, had to spend the miner on the left side to mitigate damage, and I think that was a big push for Naruto. but now he's going to really get bunkered down and send another giant push on the left side, and I don't know if the Flash has the tools that he needs. That Poison is doing really well, but you need something like a mini P.E.K.K.A. chopping away at that giant. But
I don't think you can stop the giant, though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that tower is still going down. I don't like the poison right there, though, by Naruto, because I sort of think that was an overcommitment. Like, that tower's down. You don't need to cast the poison there, because you can always cast it back at the river when the things are counterattacking on you. You might want it later for Lava Hound.
Exactly.
Ooh, big push here on the right side.
Minions.
And that's the correct strategy against Lava Hound. When they play 7 Elixir in the back, just go for it. Look, the Prince actually makes a connection before the barbs push him off, and that poison, I think, is going to be the damage here. Got him! Now think about that. Lava Hound is a very high-risk card in a lot of ways, because when you spend 7 Elixir to pull that off, you're hoping that you don't get completely wrecked during that slight moment that you have only 3 Elixir. Naruto correctly identified that opening and sold the farm, right? Giant Prince, minions, everything I have, just stay at 0 Elixir and keep trying to force that right side tower, because there is 7 Elixir in the air moving slowly that I need to win the game before that reaches my tower.
I think it's past a certain point. Once you get into the 7 Elixir, 8 Elixir costs, you really need to start thinking about, well, if I actually commit this and it's just in a neutral situation, my opponent is definitely going to play cards as a response.
Absolutely. Scroll back. It's all a pretty good one.
Are we in the same group as...
We're not in the same group as Woody. Woody's not going to be available.
Okay, cool.
So here's a good one. Oh, that's a pretty cool looking one. So let's take that one and then maybe that one. After, or at least one of his games, I think. But let's go. That last one looked real good.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, this looks like a game that I would like to see.
All right, so
Sigi, top 8er, a regular. He's not playing at this deck, but he's someone who we came on our radar because he took Skeleton Army, arguably the least popular card in the game, to a top 8 performance. And on the other hand is Darth Jarjar, a Three Musketeers wizard, one of the pioneers of the Three Musketeers archetype. But what's this? What's that card?
It looks too big to be a mini P.E.K.K.A. I'm not sure.
It might be a big P.E.K.K.A. So, okay, let's talk about this. What do you think Darth Jar Jar is doing here with this big P.E.K.K.A. deck?
So big P.E.K.K.A, I guess, is an alternate to kind of a Three Musketeers thing, and in some cases you'll probably use the big P.E.K.K.A and then the Three Musketeers to assist. But one of the things that I feel is the hardest to come by with Three Musketeers is when you get a spell hitting 2 of your Musketeers in a tower, you can really effectively dampen the effect of kind of your Elixir investment. And so Darth Jar Jar might be looking at a different way to invest Elixir and then have a good excuse to put the Three Musketeers at the river.
Yeah.
And so you have less of an opportunity to tag a building and the Musketeers at the same time. And so he can do P.E.K.K.A in the back, as the P.E.K.K.A gets to the river, Musketeers at the river, and then maybe Miner to assist on the other side.
Yeah,
and I think that's a safer way to install your kind of Musketeer split.
I also see P.E.K.K.A as a good defensive option against all these giant bowler decks. I mean, you can just play it, and he'll kill the giant and the... it's a big shake. She sachets. But she kills the giant and the bowler, and then on that counter push, if you've been saving up Elixir after casting P.E.K.K.A, you can drop the Three Musketeers behind it. So let me go screen blocker. Let's get into this game. I think the key cards here for Sigi is to make great use of his guards. Guards are going to be incredibly good against both big P.E.K.K.A and the Musketeer splits, because you can drop 3 Elixir guards on the 2 Musketeer side and cause enough distraction in order to get those things killed. So Darth Jar Jar has a lot to compete with here with the guards on the one side.
Oh god, but this is another thing about his deck. Play the Ice Spirits. Yep, definitely.
Okay, so that takes it out. He still is going to take
500-ish.
About 500 from the Miner. Although that Miner hit point nerf was, I think significant, right?
Yeah, I agree. Dangerous situation, but Zap Ice Spirit was enough to kind of mitigate it. 500 damage for a collector. I think Sigi is going to be pretty okay with that. Let's see, bowler in the back, and Darth Jar Jar is actually hovering the P.E.K.K.A, and he will play the P.E.K.K.A as a response to the bowler, but this provides the opportunity for Sigi to play the guards, actually.
Ooh. Oh, and
nice.
There's guards of Darth Jar Jar's own there in the middle, and I think that's a good poison. It takes a lot of Elixir off the pump and takes the guards out.
Ooh, maybe the Ice Spirit to block.
I like that zap, but
nice.
They use the Miner to distract. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, that P.E.K.K.A is still going down.
Oh, no, the Ice Spirit needs to chop.
It can't make it, yeah, unfortunately. Ooh, Sigi's Inferno Tower actually might be the hot sausage in this game, because it's going to keep that keep the P.E.K.K.A. really off the tower forever. There's nothing in Darth Jar Jar's deck aside. Well, actually, I take that back. Darth Jar Jar has seen an Inferno Tower now. He can either play guards in front of the P.E.K.K.A. or minions at the river to try to counter this. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. But I'm loving these minor poisons from Sigi.
Yeah, it's really effective. Even the minions that he played to try to stop the miner in terms of DPS were outpaced by the poison.
Yeah. And looking at, given what we just said, look at that. Darth Jar Jar spent both minions and guards right there on that defense. Neither of those cards are really going to be good into poison, and he's going to want probably both of them on his next P.E.K.K.A. Three Musketeers push.
Luckily, this is a strength of having cards like Zap and Ice Spirits. They're pretty useful in many situations and a very low elixir investment, and he might be able to just cycle into it.
I expect a miner to show up in the middle here to distract the bowler. The Ice Spirit's going to do... Oh, the Ice Spirit gaps him! Oh, and then the P.E.K.K.A. distracts. Great. I was trying to see what Darth Jar Jar was doing, and that makes sense to me now.
Yes.
But there's a bowler coming in on the left side.
And he doesn't have the P.E.K.K.A. for it, and he also missed the time on the Inferno Tower. The guards actually do get ahead, and it tags onto one of them, and a second one.
Ooh,
finally the zap, but the P.E.K.K.A. is already there.
Come in.
Wow. There's just so many tools in Sigi's pocket, and especially the P.E.K.K.A. is so slow that Sigi can cycle and build the elixir to get to those options. Hard to get the P.E.K.K.A. to do anything effective right now.
Yeah, and that's what makes these minor Inferno decks so consistent at tournament play, because between Bowler, Ice Wizard, Guards, and Inferno Tower, what can crack that? You know what I mean? Like, what you have to be very, very specific in your pushes in order to get around those cards, because between all of them, they just counter everything. Now, here we go, and double elixir time is when Three Musketeers becomes the best, right?
And also no poison. Sigi just used that poison to deny the collector.
And even though the guards come down here to distract, with the miner holding the tower up, those musketeers aren't actually taking tower damage.
Left side, the miner did a lot, but the right side, the right side.
And the musketeer lives!
One more shot, and the guards will actually absorb a lot of P.E.K.K.A. swings, and that's what we're talking about, just in the nick of time, but Darth Jar Jar is getting closer and closer and closer.
This time Sigi's smart about using his poison on the two musketeers early, so he doesn't have to worry about that later. The miner comes in with
musketeer minion.
Oh, can he zap can he zap the Inferno Tower? He does. And counter zap and Ice Spirit.
Showing the strength of Ice Spirit surviving the zap, actually. Sigi's Ice Spirit got hit by the zap, but Ice Spirit has just enough health to survive, and for one elixir, that is an excellent card.
Dude, Ice Spirit, that was actually one of the cards that I was most surprised to not be touched in this upcoming balance update, because it's almost impossible to not get one elixir of value. Even if, let's say a mini P.E.K.K.A. is attacking you, and you play the Ice Spirit in front of the mini P.E.K.K.A. Even if the mini P.E.K.K.A. kills the Ice Spirit first, you still got a second and a half. You got some movement, some distraction. It might even be worth one elixir just like that. Great play there. Turning around the bowler so the two musketeers can shoot it up, and even though the poison comes down, it might be a little too late.
Ooh, the musketeers are trying to...
Zaps
and they're actually going to take down the Inferno Tower, and this is what... You got to play the guards. Sigi has to play the guards, but it might be not quite enough. That musketeer is being protected, and there's going to be minions that's going to protect the musketeer. There's no elixir on Sigi's side, and this could be a big connection.
He's got to play the defensive miner. Look, it's the musketeer's just firing, just still shooting because the tower's locked onto the minions.
Oh my God, 324 health, and the P.E.K.K.A. just denies the bowler completely.
I love the turnaround. How good is that?
It's almost like he's playing the P.E.K.K.A. defending against a giant skeleton.
Yeah. Now remember, keep in mind though that there's no poison in Darth Jar Jar's deck, so he doesn't have a way to just double poison here in the last minute and 20 seconds in order to take that tower down. He's gonna have to actually push through with an honest push split.
Oh, that's interesting. Sigi actually chose to poison the single musketeer, trying to take down the lower health tower.
And he's using guards on the left side.
No!
Oh no! But it's not going down. Oh, the zap of the minions! Oh! Look at that push. You had the two guards. I think that poison was a little risky on Sigi's side, but Sigi was going for the win, right? He's like, I'm gonna play the bowler. I'm gonna get my miner down, and I'm gonna do my absolute best to try to take that tower first, because I think he knew that if they just let the last minute play out, those splits were eventually gonna crack him out.
Oh my gosh.
Great play. And that shows you how hectic games can get with Three Musketeers. The board just gets crazy. It's one of the only decks that's consistently split pushing. It's playing in both lanes at the same time. Do we have a newer one, just because I know that there's a lot of matches being played? That ESL Yo match could have been cool too. That original Flash.
There we go.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Ooh.
All right. And we have Bakalol, the winner from 2 weeks ago, and a person that I'm a little bit of a favorite of. I'm a little bit of a fanboy here, playing his Double Prince Mini P.E.K.K.A. deck. And on the other side, we've got P.E.K.K.A. Bowler Poison? That seems like a new deck.
And another P.E.K.K.A. We just saw a P.E.K.K.A. deck win, and perhaps we're going to see another one win here. I'm still not convinced that P.E.K.K.A. is a real thing. I think that there are better, more efficient options, but We'll see. I mean, P.E.K.K.A. Bowler is definitely taking kind of inspiration from a giant bowler style.
Yes, and it seems like it's a giant bowler deck meant to beat other giant bowler decks because you have the P.E.K.K.A. instead of the giant, but then you still have the bowler, which is so good at cleaning out all those things behind bowler pushes. Prince has come back, and so one of the reasons why Bakalol's deck is kind of a dark horse in these tournaments is that Prince and Dark Prince, being big units, they're large size, they don't get knocked back, are really good against Bowler because, well, they don't get knocked back. So when Bowler's sitting there pushing the mini P.E.K.K.A. away and the Musketeers away, the Prince just stands there and just boom, boom, boom fights. So looking for Bakalol to play his Princes on Rizki's Bowlers, I think, is a key interaction. Anything else you see?
What I really like about P.E.K.K.A. Bowler is that the big thing, as we identified last time, is that the P.E.K.K.As get gummed up by the guards a lot, and the bowlers will be able to push the guards off and then also splash the shields down, allowing the P.E.K.K.A. perhaps more space to maneuver. Even something as simple as one bowler roll on a set of guards and a zap is enough to take away all the guards and allow maybe a straight path for the P.E.K.K.A.
That's a good point.
to build a win. So we'll see if that happens.
That's a good point, guys. Also, check out Darth Jarjar did our Reddit write-up this past week. So if you like that game, and he's been streaming, so go check out his post on Reddit for the top 8 Super Magical Cup decks from last week, and go check him out on Twitch at Darth Jarjar CR. There's a lot of R's in there, but Darth Jarjar CR. Yeah. Actually, Darth Jar Jar is a member of Reddit Alpha, as is Bakalol. So there's a lot of Reddit Alpha members in the Super Magical Cup week after week. That's probably the most consistent and dominant clan in the Super Magical Cup series.
We're all Reddit Alpha now. Ooh, Ice Spirit makes it.
And that extra 100 damage is not too bad. Oh, look at that charge! Only one swing from the Lumberjack, so you can see a ton of value there for Prince.
And here it comes. It's a skipping.
Opts to split push instead of the... I like that, but then the bowler's going to knock back.
No, mini P.E.K.K.A.
It
cancels the swing.
What a jerk.
Wow. Interesting. So Bakalol just threw 4 on the left side, got it traded to a bowler and that is at max health, plays a Dark Prince. I'm actually interested to see the Dark Prince wins pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, Bowler doesn't do that much damage, right? Almost all of it is in his knockback ability.
Yes.
Now, here's what I like about Bakalol's play. If you've noticed, he's been really aggressive with the split pushing. Like, he actually hasn't been doing the kind of classic double Prince in the same lane. He's playing mini P.E.K.K.A. in the opposite lane of the Prince. He played just Dark Prince there solo.
Ooh, 1, 2.
That is great trade.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 6 elixir for Bakalol, only 3 for Rizki.
Yeah.
Guards are a very difficult card to compete with.
Yes. You definitely need some kind of multi-splash unit to really handle guards. Just because of their shield mechanic.
Oh, and the mini
P.E.K.K.A. connects! My god!
And even with the one knockback, he should be able to get another shot. Because notice the bowler doesn't do that much damage, so if that was like a Musketeer, that thing would have just been dead.
Yeah.
But it was not the case.
Man, that really did not work out in Rizki's favor, having the bowler on the side. He really would have preferred the bowler to actually tank that mini P.E.K.K.A. swing, I feel. Princess in the back trying to work, but the Rage P.E.K.K.A. Oh my god, it's walking really fast!
Comes in, you're right, that's so much. I mean, Rage P.E.K.K.A. is infinitely scarier than a Rage Giant because the P.E.K.K.A. will kill all of your defensive units in the meantime. He has to use the Ice Spirit to buy just a little bit of time.
And the poison on top. Bakalol's throwing a lot of elixir that's getting eliminated. Meanwhile, Rizki still has his 3 support troops in the back of the P.E.K.K.A. might have gotten a swing, but this is really going to hurt Bakalol.
This is a tower down, I think. I mean, that if you look at it, the elixir advantage is so in.
There's another rage! Oh my goodness.
13 seconds to go, and I think that is it for Bakalol. Unfortunately, Big P.E.K.K.A. is actually a natural counter to the double Prince decks. Even if Bakalol had gone like double Prince in a lane for 9 elixir, a 7 elixir P.E.K.K.A. will counter both of those. So I'm a little heartbroken because I love Bakalol so much and I love that double Prince deck. Bakalol very early on hits newcomer Rizki, who I don't think we've ever seen before. Rizki with his P.E.K.K.A. bowler deck. The P.E.K.K.A. really seemed to be the key card there. The P.E.K.K.A. and the Lumberjack, especially the Rage P.E.K.K.A. was a very deadly combination there.
Yeah, P.E.K.K.A. bowler, and we saw that play out in perfect fashion. The interesting question is, I don't know how far P.E.K.K.A. bowler can go in the tournament overall, just because he's going to have to play more opponents than just that. Right?
Well, if he's built a smart deck that can counter Giant Bowler, the sky's the limit because that deck is such a popular outcome. or such a popular opponent in this format.
I found a very interesting matchup.
Whoa, buddy, King K.
King K12 is the Champion Slayer. That's the title that I'm going to give him.
All right, the Giant Slayer, Champion Slayer.
Yeah,
That's right, because he
Champion Slayer.
defeated several former champions before. Now, while Flash doesn't have a tournament win under his belt, he is a multiple-time top 4 competitor and one of the most prolific qualifier players in the Super Magical Cup.
Exactly. And so we're going to have to see if King K102 can unseat Flash from the tournament, eliminate him. I actually don't know how the series are going. We're only going to see this one match in the grand scheme of things. Right. But yeah, let's take a look. So Flash is going to be running a minor Inferno Tower deck, but it's not kind of the standard tanky deck that you would see. First of all, there's no poison, it's Fireball instead. Second, there's not a bowler in the deck, so I'm trying to get a beat on how this deck is overall in terms of identity.
This seems like a faster version of those sort of decks. Like, okay, so poison's like imagine you can miner, right, and they defend with Musketeer, Ice Wizard, Barbs, anything like that. You just fireball the whole thing, and that you can get a lot of value that way. What I think is going to be the key matchup here is King K has, well, 2 cards, really, Hog Rider and Giant Skeleton, that struggle immensely with Inferno Tower.
That's right. King K12 had that really great Giant Skeleton. That was very effective.
Now, he's got both guards and lumberjack and minions, all of which who can be pretty good at disrupting an Inferno Tower, but it'll just be up to King K to try to sequence those cards either on defense or needing them on offense to get through the Inferno Tower, because if he just tries to play like... If he were just to cast his cards randomly or to cast his cards like just very in a telegraphed fashion, Flash will be able to defend that.
Absolutely.
Let's get there.
We always talk about the interaction of kind of the Hog Rider and the Inferno Tower, and how really the Inferno Tower and the Hog Rider kind of trade each other, but the key comes in cycling the Hog Rider before they can cycle the Inferno Tower, and I don't think that King K102's deck is cheap enough to do that, so he's really going to have to commit to making a big push, enough to push down the Inferno Tower and then have the Hog get to the tower.
And it's unfortunate for King K that this is not... Flash isn't really playing an attacky deck, because Giant Skeleton is actually pretty great against giant bowler sort of decks, because he gums up everything and then explodes on all of their stuff.
And the Giant Skeleton actually makes it to the Inferno, and it might actually blow up the Inferno Tower. And here comes the Hog Rider. Perfect timing. Oh my God!
Pulled, comes back around. Flash does not. He just fireballs, but that only takes the shields off the guards, but doesn't even kill it. But you know what? Actually, the Fireball Zap is able to stifle the bleeding. He certainly that could have been far worse. I mean, that could have been a whole tower.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. But emergency damage control from Flash's side, that was a fantastic way. We talked about it. You have to find some way to push past the Inferno Tower, and that was exactly it.
Yep.
I don't think Flash is going to be making that same mistake again. He's going to try to keep that Giant Skeleton away from the Inferno.
And King K does a great job blocking the miner. Really, a lot of these Elixir Collector decks versus miner decks really just comes down to, can the Elixir Collector player defend their Collector? And in this case, King K got away with one.
Fast enough to actually get that last swing on the Musketeer.
No kidding. I mean, it's a 0.7 attack speed. It attacks 3 times every 2 seconds.
Ooh, one of my favorite pushes, Ice Spirit Hog Rider. Look at how effective this is. One Hog Rider onto an Inferno Tower. Nice. And he got the poison, taking damage on the tower and took down the minions. There's really no counterattack opportunity for Flash, and their Elixir even, plus King K102 has a Collector. Alright.
And King K gets the second one out. Now can he defend it again? Miner is in Flash's hand. Flash, it looks like he's going to go ahead and collect. And then he's trying to think about, do I want to go in there and attack?
There it is.
It's on the opposite lane. Oh, wow. I actually like that Giant Skeleton there in the other lane because it absorbs the Princess shot. It doesn't allow Flash to get really any closer to taking down that 1600 health tower.
Yes. Oh my God! It's done.
It's done. That tower's gone. Gone. Yep. See you later. And actually, those things can turn right back around and probably kill the Inferno Tower.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's gonna be a range.
Oh my God! Talk about an effective double 4 elixir push.
And look, he's got a fireball, minions, and giant skeleton.
Oh, and he has to play because you don't want that giant skeleton next to the tower.
Things are getting worse and worse for Flash at this moment. I think that giant skeleton's close enough to even blow up there. It's gonna blow up on certainly all those other cards.
Oh!
Wow! What?
Oh my God!
Have you ever seen Giant Skeleton be this effective in the Super Magical Cup? The only other player I can think of who's a very regular Giant Skeleton player is Naders, and you know, I know he struggled recently trying to get his Giant Skeletons to work. This deck with Hog Rider and Lumberjack seems to have a lot of intrinsic synergies with the Giant Skeleton.
That was such good use of the giant skeleton. I can't believe it. I mean, all three of his cards, all three of his kind of win condition cards, he employed incredibly well.
Yeah.
The giant skeleton, the lumberjack, and the hog rider working with each other, not even necessarily in the same lane. King K102, I'm becoming a fan very quickly.
I mean, King K is someone who's been playing. We talk about this actually. The theme of Season 2, if there was ever a theme of Season 2, was a lot of these qualifier grinders, these people that we see a lot of in qualifiers, rising up through the ranks, right? Like guys like, I'm trying to remember some of these names, like ESL Yo, Flash, Chicken Bob, people who started in the qualifier scene, weren't really a big presence in Season 1, have become big players in Season 2, and I think King K might be the next player to sort of grab that brass ring and then become a new talented player. We've got a request in chat to watch a USC 1313 game, so let's go take a look. I always like to highlight new players. I think we've seen Batman before. I don't know if we've seen USC 1313 before. So let's take a look at these two new faces to the Super Magical Cup. What
Nobody
do you see
sees
here?
Batman and remembers.
Right, exactly.
Oh my god. Actually, this deck from Batman is incredibly interesting. He's got Miner as kind of a mini tank. A pretty general choice. If you need something tanky and you need a pop-up, Miner is your choice. But then he's got 3 Musketeers, which still makes sense with a Miner, but then it starts getting a little bit crazy. He's got Prince, and then he's got Bowler, and I'm trying to think about if you play the 3 Musketeers, are you going to play Prince Bowler or Prince Miner or Miner Bowler? There just seems to be a lot of interesting combinations here, and to be honest, I've not really seen this deck archetype. I don't really know what to expect and what's more effective and what the combinations are.
Yeah, C McHugh is apparently playing the same deck in this week's tournament, so this is definitely like a newer archetype being developed. If I had to guess, Bowler is there for giant decks. Prince is there for Bowler decks, Miner is there for Elixir Collector decks, and 3 Musketeers is just your value, right? So if you don't have anything else to do, just going to play the Musketeers. USC is playing a pretty standard giant Bowler deck, although it's worth mentioning, no poison. So that's one of the almost key cards. I would almost call the giant decks more of giant poison decks than like giant Bowler, because Bowler can be subbed out for a variety of cards. But it'd be interesting to see how this deck works without poison, which is one of the, I think, kind of the namesake cards in the archetype.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump in. USC 1313. Show us what you got. Well played. Good luck.
Yeah. Woody update, please. We can do that. Let's scroll down. Woody did advance to the second round, defeated Awful Waffles 2-1 in the first round, and is paired up against Diego B in round 2. He's unfortunately, so we're in, I'm sorry, I got to get in there. We are actually in Group A instead of Group B. We split up the tournament into 2 clans where they battle. Woody is in Group B, so we may be able to jump in later in the thing and go check out some of those matches, but Woody, just make the top 8. We'll watch all your matches to make the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Shouldn't be a problem, right?
Yeah, totally. Okay, here we go. Bowler on the left side is really good against the double Musketeer side. And with the splash of the Princess, I really like that. Knocks the Musketeers out of tower range, but I think the Princess's supporting fire will take it out.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think USC takes an early lead there by both getting a Collector down and a Princess, and really they're at the same elixir cost, so he must have gotten pretty good advantage early.
Gotta zap it.
Zap is, really effective at stopping those charges. It's not only that you do damage to the Prince, but in a lot of ways you prevent 300, 500, 300, it's about 300 damage from the charge, the double damage of the charge.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Musketeer gets taken down by skeletons, and
great
that
D.
Nice. And I think Batman is holding his own pretty well.
Okay, so the Bowler's pretty much going to keep this mini P.E.K.K.A off the tower. Does the mini P.E.K.K.A, doesn't even get a swing on the Bowler.
It's super hard with the Bowler and the tower working in conjunction.
Now, Batman, I don't know if he's identified it yet, because it does look like a giant deck on USC's part, so I could imagine that you wouldn't be, super about it. But, like, notice that he hasn't seen a poison yet.
Oh, this is another 5 elixir push. That is fantastic. But the mini P.E.K.K.A does get the swing.
Ooh, and I think that Princess is going to die. Wow, the Princess of USC's are getting a lot of value here.
And on the left side, that is... I actually think that tower might go down.
Princess is locked on to the Musketeers. Getting even just like some chip damage is really valuable. I mean, that translates into hundreds of damage that could have been dealt to your tower.
Exactly. 770 on the left side, and USC strikes back in incredible fashion.
Love the play there by Batman, though. That using the Miner to turn around the Bowler is a very is a pretty tricky little play there, and the Bowler pretty much becomes a harmless counter push because of that.
Absolutely. Ice Spirit jumps on, but there's an Ice Spirit in the back, and I think USC might be able to make an opening.
No, it goes down early.
Princess.
I mean, this is why I actually think Princess is the best legendary in the game. The reason why I always say is that it just defines the meta in a lot of ways. If you do not have answers to Princess, you lose to that. Like every deck needs at least 2 answers to Princess, or when you come across a deck that can cycle its princesses very quickly, you're just done. Like, what do you do?
Exactly. Miner on the right side is actually going to tag on a lot of damage.
Ooh. Oh, and another bowler comes down just in time.
668, and actually, Batman, despite all that's happened, is catching up.
Yeah, you're right. Both towers, the left tower of Batman and the right tower of USC, are pretty even, and USC's coming with a big push here with as we go into overtime against it. Great bowler defense, great miner. Yeah, both times. Turns even the Musketeer around.
3 Musketeers,
490
health.
Oh, and Zap takes it. You know, I think that if he could have held off that giant, none of the rest of the cards of USC's would have actually connected with the tower, and that would have allowed a pretty serious counter push by Batman and maybe been able to take the game on that right tower. USC saw the opportunity, knew that he was only 1 extra punch away from winning, uses the Zap to buy that extra half second, and the giant takes it down.
Yeah, I really think that the big thing there was just that USC knew that he had that push in the bag if his giant could make it to the tower, but on Batman's side, he identified that he had to play the miner first to take down the princess.
Do you have a Clyde game?
Yeah, let's find one.
Let's grab a Clyde game. We can watch Palumbo and...
this is going to be really great.
Oh, cool, yeah, we'll get this one up here.
And we actually do get to see Clyde's alternate deck, which is going to be double mini tank 3 Musketeer.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so I've heard that that a lot of 3 Musketeer players really enjoy the double mini-tank version. I think original 3 Musketeers deck used to run Giant, but they like that you have both Knight and Miner to both attack and defend. You can use Knight on defense and then counterattack. And you still have the ability to invest the Knight behind your King Tower if you need to. The thing that jumps out to me, let's see if we can get Miner up here. The thing that jumps out to me, too, is that he's also got double minions. So double mini-tank, double minions, 3 Musketeers.
Double minions and fire spirits. And the big thing is typically Zap against fire spirits is actually the best way to handle them, because even if the fire spirits jump on a unit, they do a lot of damage. And oftentimes they can change the direction of a push if the fire spirits connect with a unit or even the tower.
Correct. Patrick X King, a top 8er, I believe, from last week, looking to make a repeat top 8 performance, playing a very sharp version of the Triangle Defense deck. I think this is the ideal deck list for it because I think Ice Spirit's probably a little better than Skeletons at this point. The catch will be, actually, the big advantage for Patrick X King, I think, is probably his Valkyrie. Maybe I'll put Valkyrie up there. He doesn't have Miner. Yeah, why did I put that there? Ooh. Valkyrie. Valkyrie's going to be the key because you can drop that on the 2 Musketeers along with a Zap, and that's 6 Elixir to wipe out 6 Elixir Musketeers and generate a counter push you can put a Hog behind. He also has the Musketeer Poison Zap to handle the minions. I think this will be a pretty tight game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look. Triangle Defense. Adam makes me believe.
Yeah, there are some quality players. To update Adam, people are dying for a Woody update. Apparently, Woody defeated Diego B 2-1 in round 2 and moves on.
Exciting. Very exciting. Woody continuing a tear against Dan.
Now he's got Dan up next.
1 Musketeer versus 3. Let us see the outcome of this.
So great poison there early. Not only does he get the tower in, but he also pretty much takes the Musketeers down to their effectiveness. But the Ice Spirit coming, it's not enough to kill either of them now. It takes the Zap down. You know, he had to cycle to Zap. Patrick didn't actually have the Zap in his early hands, so he had to use the Ice Spirit to kind of help cycle. Minions, just the 3 Elixir minions can actually be a nightmare for Patrick X King's deck because those Valkyrie Hog Rider pushes for 8 Elixir can just be countered by 3 or 5.
They just get eaten alive.
Either minion.
Collector Handshake, Fire Spirits, demonstrating why they are such a great card. 2 for 4, no damage on the tower.
Oh, just too strong.
Yep.
I mean, all the spirits are really good. Ice Spirit, Fire Spirits, really strong cards here.
Really, really good.
Now, Clyde's going to go for an early split. It's smart, by the way, but key tactic here to put the 2 Musketeers on the right side instead of the left. If he had split in the other direction, Patrick could have gotten a poison that hit both Musketeers, the tower, and the Collector.
I actually think Patrick King was paralysis by analysis there for a moment, and that's a big connection on the left side. Just 3 shots.
And that's really the side that he wanted. That side was already damaged. The two Musketeers on the right side was kind of like a dummy play because you're going to have to spend a majority of your elixir to defend that side, and that lets the solo Musketeer get 1. Wow, Knight minions. That is a very Arena 3 push we haven't seen in quite a while.
And 1 minion.
Ice Spirit again, earning that 1 elixir value.
Yep. All right. Patrick King X, I think he hasn't been able to put together a good Hog Rider push so far. I think that's really going to end up hurting him here. He really needs to get started on doing
poison
damage.
Come down? Oh, I think Patrick X missed a good chance to get that double poison down. But yeah, and there goes the poison. He wants to use it on offense. He's going to drop Valkyrie on defense. No, he's got Valkyrie already used on offense. So he's going to play the Ice Spirit to buy a little time, and that low-health Musketeer of his
own. Oh, that actually hurts so much. The fact that that Musketeer came out of the freeze and killed off that other Musketeer on the left side was actually so important, and the Fire Spirits connects on the left side.
Fire Spirits are a great split push because they have to do something, even if it just means like, oh, I'm going to play Valkyrie to absorb them. Well, that's 4 elixir to my 2 elixir, and that's exactly what you want out of split pushing is to spread your opponents thin.
Big connection on the left side. That's a great hog. But now the question is, how do you defend the rest of all this stuff? Cannon at the river actually is an interesting positioning. Really does not want to mess up against the Musketeer.
And actually, I think he might have wanted to wait a little longer because with the Valkyrie... Ooh, wow.
That's going to buy him back into this game, really.
Right. But now the poison's out of his hand as a split comes down, and what's he going to do? He can't cycle back to poison that quickly. Knight comes down on that side.
He has Ice Spirit Valkyrie combo.
Yeah, okay, he's got
there we go.
The Miner's there to help distract once the Knight goes down, which is the big problem. The Valkyrie is soaking up some hits. Whoa!
He needs to play the Hog now. Play the Hog! Zap it!
The
Zap
minion's already there. Oh, and does he have poison on his own? No! He gets one shot in! The poison's going to help tick it down, but there's only 50 health left on his tower. The poison's not going to be enough to kill him. The zap plus Miner. What a tight game there!
Oh my god. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, but it was so difficult, is that when Patrick King, remember when he played the first Hog, he got absolutely denied by Minion Horde on top. He tried to put the poison, and he ended up defeating the Minion Horde.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He ended up defeating the Minion Horde in time, but the Hog Rider only got a swing off because the Minion Horde does so much damage that it kills it off. One of the big things that you have to do to close out the game with the Hog Rider in that situation is you need to be ready for the Minion Horde, play your Hog Rider, play the poison, and then zap the minions instantly. That will actually wipe out all the minions in one go and provide your Hog Rider 4 or 5 swings.
That's a very good point. Yeah, there's... Ooh, that was a tight game. That's the kind of like tight, high-level gameplay that you come to the Super Magical Cup for. We saw 2 top-tier competitors doing really good jobs. We've actually moved into round 3 now, so we're getting ever closer to the top 8. So let's go ahead and update that.
Whew, Rumham.
I know. I'm getting hot flashes.
Man, if only there was an alternate. I mean, people seem to be playing particular cards a lot. I wonder.
Did we already watch these two? Did we already watch this match?
Oh, I want to watch it.
I mean, yeah, I want to. So I know we've been playing a lot of King K games, but how can you not? Let's get the screen blocker.
Yeah!
So King K apparently brought 2 giant skeleton decks, and the other one is a Zap Sparky Minions Goblin Barrel Zap Bait deck that also has giant skeleton. Pretty cool.
All my favorite cards in one deck. There's Fire Spirits, there's Goblin Barrels, there's Sparkies. Now I only wish that there was Ice Spirits in there because I love Ice Spirits.
We got to make a Goblin Barrel little featured card here. I don't have one, and that's been killing us here. What else do we have? We've got, you know what? Musketeer hasn't been featured once yet today, and we all know Musketeer is an MVP level card. So I'm looking at Flash's deck. I actually think Flash has the sort of deck that matches up really well here, and I kind of expect Flash to win this game because you have the Inferno Tower for the giant skeleton and the Sparky and things like that, but he also has like minions, Fireball. Princess is really good against these slower push. It's also good against the Goblin Barrels and stuff because you can just have the Princess on the other side of the field and she'll help contribute on defense. The key here might actually be if the Miner of Flashes can really work over King K's collectors, because if those collectors go down, I don't see how King K can build up those pushes where you have like the giant skeleton, the Sparky, and you're zapping, and you're throwing Goblin Barrels and stuff.
Man, lots of people are playing Minion today, Seth.
Well, minions are pretty hardcore in a world dominated by Inferno Tower. You know what I mean? With everyone using Inferno Tower, minions are one of the best solutions. You play them in the middle in the river, and they just come over and cross. Are we in a training arena right now? It looks like we are.
Humble.
Yeah.
We need more training. Oh, Sparky in the back. Sparky in the back. They handshaked elixirs, but now the Sparky is the investment that King K102 makes. Princess on the left side is actually going to start piling on damage onto the Sparky. Flash could play minions. That's actually a great answer to Sparky.
Ooh, I'm really worried. Oh, zap the Sparky, but now who's going to zap the minion? Oh, God. Use the
Goblin Barrel.
The Goblin Barrel comes in.
Goblin Barrel.
And he doesn't know what he's going up against now. Until now. Now I think he might have a little more of an idea.
And 3 swings, 1.3k health.
Yeah. A little damage was done to the right side tower of King K's, but I think King K absolutely got the better of that exchange. But those minions will do enough to prevent that Lumberjack from really being part of a counterattack, and they actually get a little damage in on their own.
Yeah. Not bad, but 1.3k on the right side. It was a diversion all along, Rumham. The Sparky was not a real thing.
I'm surprised that Flash played it on the left side instead of the right side, because that other collector was so low health that I don't think you really were worried about like a fireball or poison really coming in. But now, if there is a fireball or poison, it's super vulnerable on the already low health tower. So I think that was a kind of a mistaken placement there by Flash. Don't zap these minions, because you know that you have something you need to zap significantly more coming up.
Yep. I think he's going to play Giant Skeleton first, and then maybe Goblin Barrel. Yeah, there we go.
There's the Giant Skeleton to absorb.
Oh God! Throw it!
Wow, that was a really, I mean, like, I don't think he expected those fire spirits to be there, but being able to zap them was maybe a turning point in this game for Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think King K1-2 was confident playing the fire spirits because he tried to play the mind game, was like, okay, last time you zapped the Sparky, you got dunked for it, so I'm going to try to play you one up and know that you probably won't zap the Sparky again, but Flash was like, huh, zap.
Yeah, here goes.
Am I winning? Oh, there it is. Fire spirits getting value.
Fire spirits come down, and the Inferno Tower is still around. I don't know how much longer. I don't know if it'll contribute to the next defense, but it certainly could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one.
Nice.
The Musketeer was locked onto the Sparky, so they zapped
Mind games.
Fireball Sparky.
Mind games. I'm feeling. Oh no. Okay.
Ops did not go.
He actually does a zap.
The zap was just.
He missed the zap.
Well, the zap was already used.
Oh no.
He used the zap on the Sparky.
Did he? Oh yeah, he did the zap fireball.
So there's no need to mind game right there because you know what's going to happen. But he's got a little bit of time here. The Sparky takes a few seconds to build up. And he zaps to buy a little more time.
Oh, that miner has brown pants. Oh my goodness.
Wow, with 10 seconds to go, he cannot finish the thing off. And King K takes another game from another top flight competitor.
Man.
Double giant skeleton decks be enough to get King K into the top 8? I think he's not made a top 8 or maybe one or 0. He's never made the cash rounds. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And with a really strong performance the last 2 weeks, I think if there was anyone who was a little bit of a favorite to move up there, it might be him. You could try this one. I don't know, either one. I'm down for... Oh man, there are so many good games I want to watch. God, pick one. I can't even.
The harsh part
I can't even pick one.
The harsh part about all of this is
they're all great. They are all great names. There's easily like 10 different names.
And half of them aren't going to make it to the top 8.
All right, let's watch. Let's pick a good one, and we're gonna take a little intermission break probably after this one.
Ooh, intermission break.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be anything.
What does that mean?
So let's go ahead and take a look. We've got Giant Bowler Poison on Clyde's side, and we've got X-Bow on the other side. Let's go ahead and jump right into... Okay, so let's talk about real fast. We saw USC already. This was his other deck. We didn't see USC's other deck. He's running Patriots 34's famous X-Bow Lightning log deck. Pretty strong. I actually don't think he has a good matchup here because of the Giant and Bowler and Clyde deck. We already saw Clyde beat an X-Bow deck earlier in the tournament, but at the same time, USC's, a pretty strong player. He is actually a personal cap of, I think, like 3,700 or 3,600 personal best as a level 9, tournament cap level 9 player. So he can push really high up on the ladder with these cards. I expect to see some good actions here.
Remind me one more time. What do you know? Do you know the exact list of Patriots crossbow deck? Is it the same?
I believe if it's not the exact same list, it at least has all the key cards, which is the Inferno, X-Bow, Lightning, Log, and I think the Mini P.E.K.K.A was there as well. Might be a few differences, things like Fire Spirits. I can't remember. I think Patriots played Fire. I think Patriots played both Spirits as well, but I'd have to look.
I would assume that he did because the Spirits are great.
And USC's starting slow. Why? They're both leaking elixir. Neither of them want to make really want to commit to a big push. I think what USC's trying to do here is... I think USC wanted him to play a Giant or a Bowler and then do it, and then eventually decided he had to go for it. Whoa, with the Inferno Tower there to intercept the Bowler.
6 + 5 against 5 + 4.
This is, it's 11 elixir for Clyde, 9 elixir for USC, and for less elixir, he's going to put some damage on the tower as well.
I mean, look how effective that poison is against the crossbow. Like, normally that crossbow would have done, like, 1,000 damage. Just the fact that it was the only damage done to the crossbow was poison. Oh, that was it. Yeah. And it decreased... Oh. Ouch. That hurts.
Ooh. My tummy.
I guess he has lightning. And that was a level 3 lightning. Does the level...
And we are live, guys, by the way. As a real quick interjection, stay tuned. After this tournament, we're going to look at the first sneak peek, Mega Minion. Stay tuned after the game. That's a little sneaky peek right there. Mega Minion is the new card that is coming out. One of the new cards that is coming out, so definitely take a look.
Minion. It's like all 3 of the minions combined and became a mega minion.
We'll do a deep dive right after, but let's focus on USC versus Clyde here. It's a very important tournament for both of these players.
Great zap, great use of the bowler, and the bowler's going to... Oh, my God, the bowler on guards is fantastic, and the musketeer in the back.
Yep.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of damage. I'm sorry, play the log maybe, but I don't think that's going to...
The bowler tanking for the musketeer is going to allow the musketeer to do a lot of damage, because even locked onto the tower, and even with the mini P.E.K.K.A. attacking, and it still did a whole bunch.
Rare footage of bowler hitting a tower.
Yep.
That's way. Oh my God! One elixir. Oh God!
One punch is all he needs.
There needed to be a slightly. So I think the best way to use it. I can't. I wish we had a telescope.
Oh, that was actually bad timing because Clyde already had the giant down when the Expo came down. I think that was really unfortunate for USC right there. He uses the zap to reset the Inferno Tower, but it resets onto the giant, and it looks like the Lumberjack's gonna. Oh no! It was a little too slow.
And oh my God, the guards. The rage bowler on guards is so great. And giant in the back is actually... Oh, the ice spirit dropped, and the bowler just...
Ooh, and the second bowler behind there is actually pushing it. Oh my God, this is a
pushing
lot
it towards the
giant. Oh, and the last second Inferno comes down to help buy a little time.
But it's getting desperate. That is desperate right now. How do you play your crossbow in this situation?
Right. Now
you don't have the Inferno Tower to block your crossbow either, and your opponent has 2 big bodies.
I think USC is up... in Elixir right now, too. Oh, he uses the log. The Rage Giant's going to start moving a little faster, but the Inferno Tower's still there to block. Wow. I actually think USC's gotten through the worst of it. I think there was a period in time where he got his Expo counter really bad, and he was looking pretty gnarly. Oh, what a lightning! And was looking pretty gnarly in terms of being able to defend, but I think he's held off in the tower, and as long as, I don't think his push is really going to go anywhere.
Yes. Okay. Nice use of the Fire Spirits in the back.
Whew.
I like that. 1-1-4-3 to 8-4-8, and this is a very, very intense game in overtime. USC has not had the opportunity.
Now he's gonna see what happens again if Giant comes down and then the zap right after. No, he plays
there's no
Lumberjack
poison.
There's no poison. There's no zap. Both of them have been used very recently.
Good use of the cards.
Hardcore Expo.
No!
It's shooting. It's only a level 3 Expo. Worth mentioning too.
Oh my God.
Oh no!
He needs one more.
He only needs one more lightning. He can just survive. That was really greedy. I think he tried to use it on the musketeer. So there's a big opening here for Clyde to help to take this game while the lightning is on cycle.
I almost feel like killing the cards is not even your biggest priority. It's just delaying.
He's got lightning back.
Now, can you afford to not play anything else and just play lightning? I think he can.
And the bowler hasn't locked on yet. Boom! USC upsets Clyde in that game. Guys, we're going to go right into it. I know you're thirsty for that spoiler, so let's get in here. Guys, Mega Minion is the new card. Now let's talk about what the new cards are going to be. There are 4 cards in the new update, but only one is going to be released every 2 weeks. So Mega Minion will be coming out with the patch on Monday, and then you'll have to wait every 2 weeks. There will be a new card, and since there's about 2 months between updates, that means we're going to see a steady stream of new cards from here on out. Let's talk about the Mega Minion. Rainey, what do you see in this card?
The Mega Minion, first of all, is wearing very fancy clothes. He's got armor, he's got a helmet, he's even got the guard on the face, and obviously that means that he's tanky. He's much tankier than a normal minion, and he does a ton of damage. Look at that.
Well, let's talk about how this card is going to fit into tournament play. So here's how I think about him. A good way to think about him is a 3-cost flying like mini P.E.K.K.A. almost. His stats are very similar to the 3 minions being combined together. So if you take the 300, so let's just take a look at minions here. Let's pull up minions and we can compare them just to the regular minions.
So many people playing minions today.
Yeah,
we can definitely talk about, and I think you touched on that just a little bit.
So let's look at the stats of a single minion. Each minion has 190. Yeah, I gotta update that. Yeah, each minion has 190 health and does about 84 damage a swing. So when you combine that together, that's a 600 health. So Mega Minion has a little more health than all 3 minions, and does about the same damage as 3 minions, but he's a little slower of a hit speed. So the DPS is a little lower, the health is a little higher. What's cool about Mega Minion? Let's just talk about some interactions. Doesn't die to Fireball or arrows or poison, survives fire
cost.
for 3 costs. So it's kind of like Ice Wizard. It'll be a 3-cost card that survives 4-cost spells. Moves medium speed though, not as fast as minions. It's not something you can just play at the river alone and really threaten a tower. It'll die. I think it gets to the tower, but it's not something like minions or minion horde where if left unchecked it just does a ton. It's definitely a good backline unit.
So what's really interesting to me is that in situations where you felt like you needed to play Musketeer against things like Giant, all of a sudden you have a 3 elixir card that does more effective in that scenario, like Musketeer against Giant. Mega Minion against Giant would be better because it does more damage, also cannot be removed by spells, and only costs 3.
Very good point. So yeah, it's a flying... Okay, so here's the thing. Let's... Mini P.E.K.K.A... I'm sorry. Musketeer does 160 DPS. Mega Minion does 219 DPS. Lumberjack does 286, and Mini P.E.K.K.A does 319. So Mini P.E.K.K.A is still the highest DPS card, especially for the cost. But Mega Minion is, I think, comparable because you can play him. He doesn't ever get attacked by things like Bowler either. So I think he's a great counter to Bowler. The Giant Bowler pushes are really going to struggle with Mega Minion because, well... He's not gonna die to Fireball. He'll survive the poison just like the existing Mini P.E.K.K.A, but he's not gonna get pushed around by bowler rolls or anything else like that.
Absolutely, and he will be really good at taking down things like Sparky.
Yep.
And,
you're right.
You know, other and like Bowler, right? You can't attack air.
And let's think about what he one-hits, right? He's going to one-hit minions, enemy minions, one-hits minions, one-hits goblins, one-hits spear goblins, skeletons, and fire spirits and ice spirits. So if he gets that attack off, there are a lot of situations where he's going to one-hit kind of the smaller, trashier troops and does enough good DPS to be a threat against tankier things.
So one of the interactions that we talked about a little bit is, why do people play minions so often?
Right.
And you mentioned that one of the big things in the meta right now is Inferno Tower.
Right. So Mega Minion's actually not good against Inferno Tower, at least not as a lead thing. So actually, where I think you might see a lot of play... Well, okay, for example, let's say you need to fight Inferno Towers. You're probably going to want minions, just regular minions, because you want them to clog up and have problems with the Inferno Tower. But the Mega Minion's not going to be good at that. Where I think Mega Minion's really going to shine, and a lot of people tend to look at replacements, right? They say... oh, I take out Mini P.E.K.K.A for Mega Minion. Or they say, like, I don't want to, like, oh, why would I play this card because minions are better or whatever, right? But I think one thing that people fail to think about when they look at new cards is redundancy. When are situations where you'd want Mini P.E.K.K.A and Mega Minion or minions and Mega Minion? I actually think a lot of those decks, like the Lava Hound decks that we saw today that run minions and Minion Horde, might rather play minions and Mega Minion because then you have 2 3-cost cards that are both high damage but serve very different purposes. If you know that they have poison, send in your Mega Minion. If you know that they can't deal with swarms, send in your minions. And I think that's probably better for a deck than trying to run 2 different minion swarms or whatever.
Yeah, I really like this card just overall without really knowing how it's going to play out. I just like it in the sense that they're providing you more 3 elixir cost cards that are effective that are not legendaries.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the things about the legendaries, and one of the big reasons I would argue that they're so effective in combination with each other, is because they're all only 3 elixir investments, right? And so if you don't have any of the legendaries, it feels kind of hard to play efficient decks and cyclically decks if you can't get up to that rarity.
Right.
The Mega Minion is only a rare troop. So it's going to be fairly easy to level up in comparison, fairly easy to find, and effective for that cost. And so that's why I really like the addition of another rare troop that is 3 costs, is not the archers, right?
Yeah.
This is definitely very applicable to the meta right now.
And if you think about it too, those all air decks, those like Lava Hound, Minion, Double Minions, Baby Dragon stuff, they have another air troop, one that's pretty tanky, in order to further push this like all air archetype, air support, air superiority sort of thing. So yep, you can check it out, guys. It's actually live right now on the Clash Royale site. There are 4 cards coming in the next update.
What
2
could they
rares
be?
and 2 legendaries. The first rare is Mega Minion, who's going to release on Monday with the patch, and the other cards will be released every 2 weeks. So hang tight for future sneak peeks over the next couple weeks. And yeah, I'm really excited to play with Mega Minion. I think that the most common decks you're going to see him in are like these giant poison push decks, and then also Lava Hound decks.
Yes.
Probably not going to be that good in maybe like Hog Cycle or P.E.K.K.A decks, because Hog Cycle needs something fast. Like Mini P.E.K.K.A moves very fast. That's a huge advantage. Mega Minion moves medium speed, which I've played with them on the dev build. I think you really want the speed of the Mini P.E.K.K.A if you're a Hog deck. But and then P.E.K.K.A decks, P.E.K.K.A. Prince decks, they need the swarmy minions in order to distract and get in the way of the Inferno Tower. I don't think that deck would want to run Mega Minion, but I do think Mega Minion's a really awesome new complement to the metagame. It's exactly some of the things that we've asked for in terms of countering giant decks, bowler decks, these big ground-based pushes, and it's something you really can't ignore.
One thing that I would like to just tell other people is don't get caught up on the naming of this card. Just because it's named Minion, don't feel like you can't play Minion and Mega Minion in the same deck, right? You
I think
need
that might
to
be
make
the
sure.
best situation to put it in.
You need to make sure that you're understanding the function of this card. The Mega Minion is not necessarily a replacement for the minions. If anything, it might be a replacement for something like a mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Lumberjack.
That's right.
So
Mega
keep that in
Minion,
mind.
And someone asked in chat, what arena do you find Mega Minion in? Mega Minion can be found, I believe, in Arena 7. I'll take a look. I'm double checking right now.
I think it's, is it Royal?
It's a Royal Arena card. That's right. It is Arena 7. It is a Royal Arena rare. Arena 7.
All right.
Woo!
Look at that guy.
Pretty good. Excited. Doink. All right. Now, how far into this here tournament are we? It looks like we are in round 3 right now. Let me go ahead and update the stream bracket. See if we. Oh, actually, I think we are in. Let's watch one more round 3 game before we get into the top 8.
Oh, then it's gonna be this one because
All right.
this is one of the defining matches, I think.
Okay, Darth Jarjar v King K. This is actually game 3 of their match, so the winner of Darth Jarjar King K will make it into the top 8.
Champion Slayer King K102 against Three Musketeer Extraordinaire, the DJJ.
Let me just get these featured cards all set up. So what do we got here? I mean, do I even have do I not have a Sparky card? No, I have to. Yeah, we're gonna put Sparky up there for sure.
You do.
Red though, we got Three Musketeers for Darth Jarjar, and we got Sparky down here for King K.
All right. Oh baby. Oh god. Woo. This is such an exciting matchup. How does Sparky interact with P.E.K.K.A.?
Well, P.E.K.K.A. can definitely absorb a shot or two without being totally wrecked, and that helps. Lumberjack's low hit points means that he's going to get one hit by the P.E.K.K.A., or not one hit, but like, you know, going to get beat up by the P.E.K.K.A. pretty quick. The minions are in there, though, to help confuse and stifle some of these other cards. God, I don't know where this could go, actually. The guards are probably really good against the giant skeleton and the Sparky.
The one thing that we should remember about King K102, it might have been Darth Jarjar, but giant skeleton versus Three Musketeers is just like easy.
Yeah.
Incredibly easy. Just play wherever the Two Musketeers go, and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, you're right. He has the giant skeleton as a way to gum up the pushes in the same way that people use Bowler and Valkyrie to stop the Two Musketeers side. You're right.
Which is really, really good. Means that he does not need to use things like Fire Spirits or Zap to try to handle Three Musketeers. All right. So, let's see. I think we should see how the game plays out. P.E.K.K.A. is obviously a card that we've seen a little bit in the tournament so far.
Yes.
But
okay, go for it.
All right, we're watching.
So this is the last third round battle we're going to watch, and then we're going to jump into the top 8. Remember, in the top 8, we spectate every single game, all best 2 out of 3s, all the way through the top 8. So these early round matches are fun. We get to see who's playing in the tournament, what they're running, but the top 8 is where the real action happens.
Yes, top 8. King K102 plays the Collector first, and Darth Jarjar has a weird-looking punish. Guards are actually really good at getting up to the tower, but not when there's Fire Spirits.
That was a pretty... I mean, I think King K just defended for 3 elixir.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge elixir advantage given how much Darth Jarjar started off with. I think Jarjar went with that push because he's just trying to get to his Collector, so it's, even though it's not a real great push, it is a way to cycle like 2 to 3 cards for a pretty cheap amount.
Darth Jarjar is probably going to have to spend the next minute earning that cost back now. Giant Skeleton against P.E.K.K.A.
There's a zap.
We'll see.
I mean, this is a super in favor.
Oh, no! Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, I think you
There's a bomb. Oh, my God.
Oh, the bomb,
my God, the
right.
shields.
The shields did knock it off, though. You're right. Yeah, good point. Oh, and took the zap. Oh, I don't think Darth Jarjar wanted to zap right there if he had the option, right? Yeah. Opts to go and doesn't play his own
Lumberjack.
Collector. Oh,
nice.
Man. I think Darth Jar might have made a mistake there by not just playing the Collector.
This hurts.
First, right?
Darth Jar might be in big trouble right now. Doesn't have Zap and Lumberjack's coming in. Play the Ice Bear, but it only tags onto 1.
Oh, great minions, though. And the rage comes down and everything's already dead.
And you can tell just how much more effective Goblin Barrel is if you have a tank.
Right.
And that's just... It's going to make your Goblin Barrel so much more effective. But King K102 did get a bit of chippy damage on it. And that's going to even up the Collector game.
Yes.
Oh, he spent Zap. Sparky hasn't even been played yet.
Oh, you're a good point. Oh, man. So Darth Jarjar needs to be a lot more conservative, I think, with his zap plays. Because you're right. Like, did you really need to zap on offense? Or was it, like, super important that you got that extra, 67 damage on a tower?
Yeah.
When you've already seen that King K's deck is a very heavy, like, zap bait sort of deck.
And even though the Goblin Barrels haven't been explosively effective, I mean, just look at that. Chippy damage. King K102 makes very little commitment, throws a 3 elixir card, gets that health down to 1.6k. Oh, the shields are down on the guards now, and the Giant Skeleton is so tanky, it's still going to be able to handle that P.E.K.K.A. Here comes the bomb. 3 Musketeers here.
I like the spread out 3 Musketeers. Actually, that's probably better. Oh, the Rage Sparky!
Oh, it's charging up super quick! That tower might just go down!
Oh my god! Rage Sparky!
One more! One more shot!
The tournament archetype that we've all been expecting in this tournament, the Giant Skeleton Rage Sparky combination.
Uh-huh.
Oh, here
and
comes
Goblin
the
Barrel.
River. I don't like that P.E.K.K.A. at the river. That seems really greedy. I think Darth Jarjar might be going on tilt right now because that's a really it's so easy to counter a P.E.K.K.A. at the river. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's gets
but he hits one. What do I know?
And the zap.
What do I know?
94. All of a sudden, this game turns right back around. The Giant Skeleton got the tower on the right side.
Wow. So both sides are low, and if we're in overtime now, and he's got to be able to zap there. And he can't zap, and the thing's King K takes game 3 of their series. King K is moving on to the top 8, bumping him. You are right. The champion slayer, the Giant Slayer. We should call King K Doomsday, because all he does is kill superheroes. Yes. That's all he can do.
King K102.
Wow.
Doomsday.
Forgot about the Sparky, Darth Jarjar says in chat. Good game for them. So let's get ready to move on to the top 8. We'll go ahead and throw the screen blocker up. Let's pull these down.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to move now to the top 8 round. Doink, 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 doink. And let's pull the bracket back up here. Whew. Okay, so actually I'm going to do a little shrinky poo. Boink, boink. And I gotta, okay, we're doing a new screen capture. Daggered right in my heart. Okay, add screen capture. And remember guys, in the top 8, do not report your scores. We have admins, the admins will report the scores. Please do not spoil the top 8 matches by reporting your scores. That's bad, 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 bad. Let me try this one more time. There we go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Put ye old chroma key on this. Okay, folks. Well, here we are, and we have our top 8. So let's take a look at our top 8. Naruto Uzumaki returns. Yes, returns to the top 8.
He's become really consistent in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 top 8s. I'm pretty sure, right?
Did he top 8 last week as well? No, he didn't.
No, he did.
He top 4'd 2 weeks ago, but I do agree that he's had several consistent performances. Danny 20, who's a qualifier player that we watch a lot of, someone we see in the early rounds, but I believe that's Danny's first top 8 appearance. USC 1313 in his first battle at the Super Magical Cup makes it all the way to the top 8 and goes against Springtrap, who I think we've also seen a lot of Super Magical. Another person making their first top 8, but not their first appearance. The bottom side of the bracket, though, is stacked with names. Marcel P, a former winner, against Vizard, a two-time finalist and a multiple-time top 8er. I believe this is Vizard's 4th top 8 of the season. And wow, great performance by Vizard the last month or so.
Yes.
And of course, at the bottom, we have King K, who has just been on a warpath the last few weeks. And going up against Dan, Dan defeated Woody in the top 16 round to get here. So, boy. I mean, Woody, a very consistent performer. We got to keep an eye on Dan because anyone who gets through Woody's decks is someone to watch.
Absolutely. All right, so the matches have already begun in the top 8, so let's get into it and start seeing what these decks are.
Before we get too into it, let's go again with the sneak peek. I know some people are coming in. Whoop. Mega Minion is the new sneak peek that will be coming out on Monday. Mega Minion does not splash damage. It's an air and ground attacker. It has about the same hit points as 3 minions, the same damage as 3 minions, moves a little slower, a little more hit points. It doesn't die to Fireball, does a good amount of damage. You're going to see a lot of this card. It's almost like a flying mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yep.
For 3 elixir. A little bit less damage, though. Mini P.E.K.K.A. still does significantly more damage than a little Mega Minion. But
Mini P.E.K.K.A. drank Red Bull.
Yes. It's as if all 3 minions Voltroned into one Mega Minion. So this will be out Monday. You can catch it then with the new balance update and the new patch. I'm excited to see next week's Super Magical Cup how many people bring Mega Minion and what that card can do. Let's get a look.
All right.
Okay. So which match do you want to start off with first?
I'm starting off with the match that finished first.
Okay. So here we go. Make sure we got him on screen.
So it's interesting. USC 1313 was a player that the chat kind of was like, let's watch him.
He's got a lot of fans in chat. A lot of fans in chat. So I think USC is a known player outside of the Super Magical Cup, making the Super Magical Cup debut.
The People's Champion, level 3 epics.
Very high trophy count for a tournament cap player, so I would expect him to do very well. And going up against, oh my, P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince, one of my favorite decks in this entire game. So I think, what do you think the keys here to look for? I think that being able to play the P.E.K.K.A. directly in front of the Expo is pretty significant, but that's a lot more expensive than a Giant.
I think that right now, Double Prince is incredibly good against crossbow Inferno Tower setups because the Inferno Tower is the thing that you want to get hit. It gets played really close to the river, so the instant the princes come charging in, it's very hard to place cards in front of it. If you play something like Guards, a Dark Prince is going to smack and take them down, and then the Prince in the back is going to take down the Inferno Tower. All the while, the P.E.K.K.A. is going to be tanking up a lot of crossbow shots. And so I think it's going to be very, very, very hard for USC 1313 to push through with this crossbow deck.
Yeah, the Prince is another interesting card because the log isn't going to be useful there, right? Like those princes are not going to be pushed back. So I'm excited to see how this game goes. You know what? I'm favoring Springtrap because I love the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck, and I'm a contrarian, and I don't want the chat to be all happy. They gotta be mad. I'm mad. Yeah. And let's put it up for Springtrap before we jump into the game. Let's get his featured troop. It's obviously P.E.K.K.A., right? It's big.
P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, there we go. I guess gotta turn it on.
P-E-K-K-A.
Wait. Okay.
All right. That's it.
So someone asked, there is an SMC next week. There's going to be a Super Magical Cup on the 24th. There will be one on August 1st, October 1st, and then I think we're going to take a break, and the championship is going to be October 15th. So there is still 2 more weeks of SMC. We'll get to see the new card for the next 2 weeks, and then I think the championship might be the debut of whatever the card is released afterwards. So here we are, top 8. Early on, mostly just cycling. I think USC's trying to get to his Expo and his Inferno Tower and wants to get really set up. Ooh.
That's an expensive defense.
I'm not really sure, though. I mean, there are 7 elixir fighting, so you have a lot of ways to kind of do that. They're about tied in elixir, and no one has a pump down, so I think in the end it kind of shook out to be about even. Oh! Exactly what USC wants. He wants to see an investment in the back.
No! Sad violin music.
Oh, he resets the zap, though.
Yep,
that's a good reset. And the Ice Wizard not only slows it, but has so much hit points himself that it's actually a very good, cheap tank for that kind of card.
Oh, wow, it didn't jump.
Hit the tower.
Interesting. Did that decrease the Fire Spirit's range? Because the Fire Spirit walked a long time right up to the Ice Wizard. Yeah. Because I thought it was going to jump at Invul.
Bad placement on the Guards there for USC. So Guards, if you place them at the right angle relative to the Prince, the Dark Prince only hits one of the Guards, and it's like Guards are incredible against that card. But unfortunately, they were lined up in a way where the Dark Prince's swing hit all three and knocked their shields off. Going for another one. He's got the Ice Spirit ready to go. Remember, until the update, Log is not going to knock back these cards. The Ice Spirit misses.
Well, he actually opts to play the mini P.E.K.K.A. I think after the Prince hit, just to make sure.
Just sort of up. It was like, you know what, it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And even though that mini P.E.K.K.A. is not going to connect, the Log takes out the Princess and gets a little bit more damage there.
Fine.
Yeah, you can take that.
And he's still got lightning in the pocket. We've got lightning in a bottle. Springtrap 2015.
McHugh, the championship is going to be top 16, we believe.
Top 16.
We'll definitely confirm it next week. We'd like to confirm by the end of the stream. We're talking to people right now.
You want to be.
You're going to want to be there too. It's going to be the biggest thing Super Magical Cup's ever done. Oh no.
Play the Guards.
The Guards do get in there, and the Expo is still shooting. Nothing's hitting it. Even the splash damage of
P.E.K.K.A. is so tanky. Surprise. We cycled. There's another one.
Oh wow. But actually, if there's a zap ready for that Inferno Tower, which there is Oh, it's the Ice Spirit. Oh, the Ice Wizard. I'm sorry. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, if he could zap that Inferno Tower and take it down, that half-health Prince could get a charge going and do a significant amount of damage.
Yes.
All right, here we go. We have a P.E.K.K.A. with a Dark Prince behind it, the Ice Wizard behind that. Relatively weak weak defense so far for USC, but he does get back to his Inferno Tower.
Uncomfortable situation. This is what we're talking about. Minions are great against Inferno Tower.
That's exactly where you want to play him to, right in the middle there. Oh, and the charged Prince and one P.E.K.K.A. swing is enough to take it down.
Oh, you're running out of elixir. Oh my god, play the guards.
Oh, the guards come down too late. The Prince is already locked onto the tower. The Prince doesn't get knocked back yet. After the update there, that log play would have worked.
Oh my god, the splash though. Look at the splash. Leaks so much damage onto the tower. Oh
wow.
god.
And at this point, when your tower's at 400 or less health, every little bit of Ice Wizard damage matters. And I think Springtrap has this game in the bank. They're in overtime. A lot of health left on a Springtrap's towers. All he has to do is just survive and cycle back to poison for the win.
Wow.
Well, that's game one. Game one. So here's the thing to remember, guys. If this is your first Super Magical Cup tuning in, the every player has to register 2 decks. Oops. Oh, where'd you go? Yeah. Every player has to register 2 decks, and when you play a best 2 out of 3. The winning deck gets eliminated, so you have to win with both of your 2 decks. Now, even though Springtrap won Game 1, that means that Springtrap can no longer play his P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck in Game 2. And what an interesting second deck that Springtrap opts to bring. He has duplicated Minions, Ice Spirit, Zap, and P.E.K.K.A. So he's playing 2 P.E.K.K.A. decks here in the top 8. USC opts to stick with the Expo Lightning deck. What's going on here?
So Expo Lightning against this P.E.K.K.A. deck, again, I think USC faces similar problems in which he has this P.E.K.K.A. tanking for him, he has guards to tank for him, and I think it's just very hard to set up a crossbow, especially when there's so many big bodies. The fact that there's no Princess means that you can't quite be as aggressive, but I think 3 Musketeers with their range are really good at destroying buildings, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Lightning is a great card to use, and we saw USC not use Lightning a single time in the last match. So I think USC might have more success with Lightning when the 3 Musketeers are dropped, and it's very hard to get them for the 3 Musketeers to split up fast enough that the Lightning won't hit all 3 of them. So we'll see.
All right, let's take a look. Put the screen blocker up. Yeah.
All right, 1-0. Springtrap is up 1.
That's right. So if Springtrap wins this game, the match is over. If USC wins the game, we go to a game 3 where both players have to play the alternate deck. Springtrap will still be on the P.E.K.K.A. deck, and USC, I forget what USC's other deck is. I can't remember if we saw it earlier, if we've only seen this Expo deck so far. But we've watched a couple USC games today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how appropriate on College Football Day. I believe USC is actually playing.
Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Fire Spirits just won. Yes. Oh, my God. USC. It's just so satisfying watching that crossbow tick, tick, tick away. Ooh, Zap at the defense. Nope, back at it.
Wow.
Oh, and I think that tower might actually...
That's a pretty good opening for... I mean, that's exactly the sort of opening that USC wants. Because at this point, once it gets low, he'd actually... Oh, no, this is going to come off and shoot those 2 things. It might even go back to the tower.
Oh wow. So 3 times,
At this point, USC never needs to cast another Expo again.
He can just lightning.
He could probably lightning the rest of that collector if he really wanted to, just because, right?
Yeah. But I think the safer choice is for him to just play it calm. Yeah. He knows that he has to win.
Exactly
just
what
wait
he wanted
until
to, right?
overtime.
You get the P.E.K.K.A. to absorb.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the P.E.K.K.A. could absorb every single shot the Expo does and still survive.
Premature Inferno Tower placement. Yeah. You really don't want to give your opponent any extra time to install their minions.
Oh, and he zapped it too, not only to reset it, but also to, look at that. The mini P.E.K.K.A., the lifetime of the Expo was lower than the P.E.K.K.A. had health left. That P.E.K.K.A. could absorb probably every bit of damage if need be. Now, of course, that's a 7 elixir card to counter a 6 elixir card, so how good is that really? But here's the thing. I don't know if Springtrap knows. USC has lightning. Watch this. Doom, 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 left side.
There we go. Oh my god, and now it's just 1 Musketeer.
And there hasn't been a lightning plague yet, so Springtrap couldn't have known that was in his deck. But now, like, it's a little late for that because even though, okay, well now you know, what can you do about it? You're 1 lightning from death, and with a minute to go, you can't really split your Musketeers. Like, he can split his Musketeers behind his King Tower, but he's going to have to put 2 on the right and 1 on the left.
And I think this is probably the best choice. P.E.K.K.A., and then you have to try to get away with 3 Musketeers at the river and hope that they walk away fast enough. Or run, Musketeers! Ah! Oh, no!
That they didn't separate fast enough. So when I talked to Darth Jarjar about Three Musketeers strategy, he says the only time that you start to split them between your king tower, behind your king tower, is when they show you something like lightning. So playing them up there in the middle in front of the king tower is one of those things that once you see lightning, don't do that anymore.
Right. It's just too easy.
I think it's a little desperate right there. The P.E.K.K.A. at the river. Like, what's he gonna pull off with that? I guess. Because it's not even on the right side, so even if he totally ignored that or whatever, I think Springtrap sort of knows that the game is outsies for him.
Yes, I do believe it is checkmate.
And with 7 seconds to go, although that is a pretty sizable push coming in, but I think he's got a little time.
Yeah.
We go to game 3. Oh, buddy. All right, so, all right, so the Expo deck of USC is out now. Wins the game.
Yes. So we will have to see.
That might have been a mistake. There. I think I might just check. That should be like a 3-0 game. Sorry, Spring. There we go. Cool. So here we go.
That's what it is.
Game 3. So we have the P.E.K.K.A. 3 Musketeers on Springtrap side. Let me go ahead and switch it over. So the P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck has already won. Now it's up to P.E.K.K.A. 3 Musketeers to pull this one off. USC has a pretty straight down the line giant bowler deck, although we did mention that the key thing in this deck was, well, no poison, right? Bowler is probably the best thing in the deck against the 3 Musketeers. It's going to be hard for him to come back. I don't know. I think you really want poison to think about that. Like, there's no. I mean, if you had bowler and poison, I think you have a really good matchup against 3 Musketeers. But with just bowler, ooh, I don't know.
I actually think something really important that Springtrap can do to ensure like a very comfortable win is playing the minors on the princesses. As long as he can lock down the princess, I think that USC is in a very, very tight spot against 3 Musketeer.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right, because the princess is one of the other really good cards there, but he does have the minor to fight it. But he's got to choose, does he want to minor the collectors, which he probably does, or does he want to minor the princess? With no spells, really there's no fireball or poison in either deck, so they're both vulnerable to collector advantages, to princess, to all sorts of stuff like that.
All right, let's see.
Can I edit here? Can I report scores? So we have USC
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
And the game's going.
No winner is selected. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh,
screen blocker. Collector handshake.
I think that's a great way that. I mean, if you have a game 3, that's how I want it to start.
Oh, right? No, this is really good. Look at that.
No swings. We got one. No, you're right.
Yeah, you got no swings.
Whoa, what timing. You know what? I play Ice Spirit to defend against minor a lot, and I never time it that well. Like, they always get at least a swing.
It has to be right before it's actually like the closest time possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
That's actually, though, I was going to say, that's how I want game 3s to start. When you have a deciding game between 2 good players, I want them to both open with the cards that they want so they can play their strategies to the best of their effectiveness. Both players open with the collector. Looks like both players are going to drop a second collector here real soon. I want to see if Springtrap opts to keep pumping or if he's going to abandon the pump plan and just go for a big
try to
push.
play this P.E.K.K.A. push. We'll see. If he's
going to split.
He's going. And I think like something interesting about these expensive decks is early on you can't play the expensive decks very often, but your opponent also does not recharge elixir as fast, and so you can get very badly punched. Like, look at the left side, he has no elixir. Oh my god!
Whoa!
That's what I'm talking about.
I was watching the right side. I was like, oh my god, what happened there? Because he used the minor to turn around the bowler, but the bowler's still alive. So, and I'm just surprised this counter push wasn't more effective. I was watching the right side, and I was like, okay, 1 musketeer locked on. I guess I missed it. There's no.
Oh my
you know what
god!
To think about in USC's deck, there's no guards. There's no skeletons.
Oh my god! And that's what I was talking about. Before double elixir hits, sure you can't play your big pushes too often, but your opponent doesn't recharge elixir fast enough.
Right.
And he just was dry. He could have played a musketeer, but that would have just been one more swing by the P.E.K.K.A.
Right. Whoa. Yeah, I didn't really think about it that like guards are so. I mean, we already talked about the lack of poison stuff, but the guards are really critical there because that's the only way you're going to gum up that P.E.K.K.A. for a significant amount of time, and it's also good against the double musketeer side. With only Ice Spirit to rely on, how do you just stop it? Like he can fight back, but how do you stop it?
Absolutely. Oh, nice.
That's really the worst case scenario for
and
UFC
the Ice
too,
Spirit slows out a giant.
Because it tagged onto the mini P.E.K.K.A. You want the mini P.E.K.K.A. attacking the big P.E.K.K.A. while the big P.E.K.K.A. attacks the giant.
Yep.
And that did not work out too well.
I think minor on the princess here is a play.
Yep.
There it is.
You take that princess down. He's got another P.E.K.K.A. too, really. You can even distract the bowler if need be. Like, you could turn the bowler to an angle. I think the P.E.K.K.A. was played a little too close to the tower. If it was played off to the left a little more, I think it would have turned the bowler.
Really good, precise positioning by Springtrap right now. And at any moment, Springtrap, even if this tower goes down, at any moment, Springtrap can say, hey, I'm just not going to defend this one tower. I'm going to play 3 Musketeers in the aggressive spot.
Right.
And 406 damage is 1 shot from 3 Musketeers.
That is incredible. So USC gets eliminated in 3 games by first-timer Springtrap. USC, probably the kind of, we mentioned last week, King K was kind of the breakout player of last week. We watched a lot of the games. We were really impressed by the play. Really impressed by USC. One thing that actually stands out to me about USC, he's such a good player and he's been so dominant that we didn't even mention that he's playing with under-leveled cards.
Yeah.
He only has a level 3 bowler, so there is room for USC not only to improve in his play skill, but also, I was like, wait. Not only to improve in his play skill, but to improve in his card levels. Because a level 4 bowler, I don't know if it would have made the difference in that game specifically, but there is still a gap between like what my collection is now and what my collection
In fact,
could be.
all his epics were level 3. So really the only big thing was the log was a legendary card, but that's why I said he was the people's champion, because he had the crossbow at level 3, he had the guards at level 3, he had his lightning at level 3.
You know what'll help him? The new epic chess.
Yes.
Those 10,000 gold, 10 epic chess will allow him to get closer to capping out some of those cards. And let's not forget, by the way, could have used a Mega Minion in that deck.
Yeah.
When you're having a hard time dealing with P.E.K.K.A.s and you're not sure what to do,
Mega Minion.
Mega Minion would be really good against P.E.K.K.A. because unlike the mini P.E.K.K.A., they don't actually tangle with each other, right? So it's easy to distract it. All right, let's get to the next game.
This next match is interesting.
Let me report the winner here.
I think this next match is going to be very, very particular in terms of player skill, just because I think both these players play off of solid play, right? They want to make good mechanical decisions and execute well in the game, and having them go head to head in the round of 8 is this could very well be a finals match.
Exactly. This is the sort of match that I'm excited to see every match at the Super Magical Cup Season 2 Championship on October 15th, where it's going to be the top 16 players. I believe both Marcel P and Vizard are already in the top 16 and would be able to compete in it. But on top of that, they're going to earn more points today for this top 8 performance. This is a all-star match, and I agree with you. It could just as easily be in the finals if the bracket was a little different. So let's take a look. We have Expo down here for Marcel P.
Oh, look at USC in the chat. So well-mannered.
Well-mannered.
Thank you for playing, USC.
Yes.
You did really, really well. That's crazy.
And actually, we'll keep Bowler up there for Vizard.
Marcel P, I love you.
We've seen actually a shocking amount of Bowler v Expo this week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because the Giant Bowler deck's popular, but a lot of Expo decks in this tournament format, and this learning how to fight the Expo Bowler match seems key. What's interesting about Marcel P's deck... Oh, no, he doesn't have Inferno Tower. I thought he didn't have it for a second. I missed it. I missed it. My eyes. So, yeah. I don't even know who to pick here. I couldn't honestly pick. They're both really good players. Vizard usually impresses me with his deck building. He's running a pretty straight down the line deck today, but actually, just like USC, no poison.
No poison. I think what's really interesting right now is, in my mind, Giant Bowler does really, really well against crossbow decks just because you have so much buffer to tank a lot of shots. But the thing is, I think crossbow decks in this current meta prey on the fact that they're both 5 elixir cards. You just happen to play in one situation where you're in elixir advantage. You play an Expo where they don't quite have enough elixir to play the big body.
That's the opening you're looking for, by the way. Oh, great. Vizard defends with Giant. But the opening you're looking for with an Expo deck is when they play something like a tank behind their tower or an elixir collector, you know that they have less than 10 elixir, and that's a great time to go in and try to get a win there. Ooh, is this Giant going to take down both of them? The law! Oh! Was that skeletons? What got killed there?
Yeah, probably skeletons,
yeah.
Because the guards wouldn't have been defeated. Fine.
Correct. Yeah.
1788. And he has lightning that I think he could opt, but it's a little bit risky. I would wait until 10 elixir.
Yeah, you also don't want to reveal it yet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily want to show off that you have lightning. Although, I don't know what the size is. I think if that collector in the middle was 1 square over to the left, he could lightning both.
Yeah. So he does actually opt to choose lightning. And so technically, Vizard is actually pretty far ahead because he will have an elixir supporting this push, and he has 5 elixir on the Giant.
Yeah, if you do the total elixir count, which is like elixir in the tank plus cards on the field, Vizard is significantly ahead, and I would expect this push right here to be pretty deadly. Although, if there's any card that can stop the whole push by itself, it's the old Inferno Tower.
Yep. But the mini P.E.K.K.A. That's a pretty healthy mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh, God, no! Oh, my God!
Oh, that Ice Spirit there is pretty brutal, too.
Oh, and the pushback onto the skeletons!
Oh, no. So that bowler is actually going to do a significant amount. Oh, and he does get the freeze off, though. So the skeletons also got hit by the Ice Spirit splash, so that's good. But what do you do, brother, about a full giant coming at your tower?
Has to play the Inferno Tower right next to the tower.
Ooh, and I don't like that because the mini P.E.K.K.A. coming in. Marcel P's really on his back foot right now. Oh,
God.
no. That tower, that's a full health mini P.E.K.K.A.
2 words. Elixir advantage.
Yep, that was Elixir advantage in action, right? Yep. You saw Vizard, they were about even in terms of Elixir in hand, right? But Vizard had a pump on the board and had a giant on the board. So at that point, you can argue that he's like 8 Elixir ahead or something like that, despite being pretty similar. That's the big problem with Expo, is that Expo sometimes kills stuff, but isn't really an efficient troop killer. It's much more of a tower killer.
Yep.
So even if you have a pretty successful Expo that gets your opponent's tower down to like 1,000, you spent 6 Elixir purely on damage, right? Just to like get it out of your hands and put it in damage. So you open yourself up to big counter pushes, which is why the deck is so otherwise defensive.
And trying to play the extended drop zone, play the mini P.E.K.K.A. right to the right side of the crossbow. No.
Good strategy against Expo decks. You're going to want to take the tower that they're working on because, yeah, you're right. At that point, Marcel P can't come back. You can't play an Expo on that side that's going to shoot the tower because you can just drop things directly on top of the Expo.
Yep.
You don't have that bridge advantage that you normally have as a siege deck where you can kill the things coming over the bridge. The things just appear on the other side of the bridge.
Yep.
So game 1 goes to Vizard. Now remember, Vizard can no longer play his giant bowler deck. So
what is his alternate deck? What is it? What is it? Oh, what is it? Okay. Vizard, show me what you got.
Apex Predator in chat makes a very good comment. I do think that Marcel P's Lightning was a little too greedy. I understand that he was at 10 Elixir and maybe didn't want to commit anything to the board. But there had to be something better, I think. Because the Lightning can take off 6 pumps. But if a Collector only has like 3 pumps left on it,
it's
what
not
are you
worth.
really doing, right? Like you're spending a lot of Elixir to almost just like rocket a tower.
The other way to roll it around in your head is that if he plays the Elixir Collector and he's already gained back that Elixir, like he's already back to 10, if you play that Lightning, it doesn't even matter how many pumps you take off that Collector, he's still going to be able to punish you for your missing 6 Elixir. You know what I mean?
So Marcel, okay, so Vizard is, oh wow, so both players switch decks, okay? Marcel, so if you win, you have to switch decks. So Vizard switches to his Minor Inferno Bowler deck, and I believe we have an identical card-for-card mirror match as Marcel P opts to switch from the Expo Lightning deck to the Minor Inferno deck. Now this is, if you haven't seen this deck before, if this is your first time watching the Super Magical Cup, this is a very regular performer here in the top 8 rounds. It is an it's probably, if there's a spectrum of like offensive decks to defensive decks, this is hard defense, right? Like every card in this deck is incredibly powerful on defense, good at generating Elixir advantage, and then he converts the Elixir advantage into minors and poisons on the enemy towers. This is going to be a complete mind game between these two players over who can get a little bit of tower damage lead, and then, you know, who can play the better defense against the minors. So let me turn off the Expo here for, go ahead. So let's just put Minor Bowler up for both players. You know, it's actually one of the namesake cards of this deck, the Inferno Tower, is actually going to be one of the least important cards in the matchup because of all the minors and poisons going at the far corners as opposed to in the center.
I'm looking around the room to try to find any kind of cushions and pillows. I'm ready to bunker down.
That's it.
It's hibernation.
Ooh,
oh, that's
a lot to counter a boo, and he still gets a few punch.
God.
So that's exactly what we're talking about. I think Vizard probably should have done the Ice Spirit there instead.
Yes.
Right?
I agree. Especially after we saw how that worked in the one game.
It's an odd minor. I mean, I get what he's trying to do. I think he was trying to distract the Inferno Tower was the goal there. But the bowler doesn't even do that much damage. I think an Inferno Tower would have been able to kill that minor and the bowler before really being in serious trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, USC in chat says this game will be hair pulling. I agree. Like, I love Clash Royale. I play this game every day. If there's any deck that makes me want to like bend my phone in half, it's this archetype. It's so hard to push through as a defense as an offensive deck. You really need just the right key of cards. You know what balance change I think is going to be the most relevant against this deck actually is the new lightning change with the stun. Because when they drop Ice Wizard Inferno or Bowler Inferno, you can lightning the Inferno Tower to reset it.
And also do a lot of damage on the tower.
Right. Well, yeah, you do a ton of damage to the tower, which is a good thing. You're trying to force through damage. You almost kill the Inferno Tower, and you reset it.
Perfect. Rumham has already pulled all the hairs.
Oh, man.
From this matchup.
So, right now, slight elixir advantage for... Actually, yeah, slight elixir advantage for Vizard, but... Vizard, both of them are really attacking the collectors. Neither of them want to get an elixir, let the other player get the elixir advantage because the whole matchup here is who can convert more bonus extra elixir into minors and poisons and not get punished for it.
Yep. And that's the big thing, is not get punished
Not
for
get
it.
punished, right.
Because otherwise you're just kind of
Yeah.
smacking into each other and just like, we'll just play chicken.
Slight lead for Vizard here in terms of damage, but we'll see what this bowler does coming back. Now, can Vizard defend that collector from the incoming miner? Which actually, no, Marcel has to cycle back to his miner. Nope, he plays miner on the other side. So the trick here, another part of the mind games of this deck is, okay, so if you put your collector on the opposite side, on the strong side of the tower, your opponent has to decide, do I want to poison that collector and keep them from getting a lot of advantage, or do I want to keep working down the weaker tower?
Absolutely.
I might have been wrong about this Inferno Tower thing. Actually, Inferno Tower's 40-second lifespan and the ability for both players to cycle back between their minors and poisons makes these just like long duration living Inferno Towers maybe able to cover the tower. If that Inferno was a few squares back, it might have been able to guard the backside. And we're going to, ooh man, going overtime even.
Yes. This is an interesting situation. Poison was used on the right side for Vizard, so that marks kind of a change in strategy and a difference in opinion between these two players. So we'll see which one comes. Oh god, that's a lot of damage.
Really brutal to that defensive guards. But look at that minor top is still going.
You're gonna start to see the point of Marcel P playing those collectors.
Yeah.
Right now, whereas Vizard has not been keeping up with it. Marcel P is really
Oh
trying to take it home.
no, right here! That's those guards are attacking! Oh, and Vizard takes it! Right there with the miner popped up and the poison. It only took a few more seconds. You know, actually the difference there might have been that collector, because if Marcel P hadn't played the collector, he would have the elixir to sooner to reach a little further.
The big thing is that Marcel P actually tried to, again, it's that game of chicken, right? It's who wants to give up one cycle of miner to defend first, right?
Yes.
And I think in that case, it was just one more time. Marcel P, being the player that played the collector, it was his onus to defend, right? And he just ignored that. He tried to push for the win, and I think it was just too premature.
Wait. God, you, man. Woo. Just tell me to just say screen blocker when you're going to do it or something. Because like, I'm only reacting when I see you start to reach for the iPad. And I'm like, no!
I wish we had a hockey.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So I believe that means Vizard moves on 2-0.
Vizard does move on. So he's the second member of the top four. Advances to the cash round for, I swear I want to say the fourth time this season. I mean, he has been super consistent.
Make it back. Oh my god, the next matchup. The two up-and-comers. Doomsday.
You're right. Doomsday versus Dan's Day. So Dan has upset Woody, who, despite being absent the last few weeks, is still number one on the Season 2 points leaderboard.
So close.
I know, but that just shows how dominant Woody is when he plays. And actually, Woody earned more points this week by making the top 16, so he even, will continue to push up a little bit. But Dan knocks him out, and we have two... Well, first off, we know King K's been playing these giant skeleton decks the whole tournament.
I just saw that.
But Dan is playing an archetype that I've had a ton of fun with on the ladder, and that is Giant Balloon. So
one we haven't seen in forever.
Correct. In fact, I am excited to get
Not only is there the balloon, but there's the freeze.
Freeze.
Who plays freeze?
I play a little bit of Giant Balloon, and one thing that I think is kind of interesting is that he's not playing Elixir Collector at all, which I don't think it's a wrong decision. I think Giant Balloon is not your traditional giant poison push deck. It's not sitting there trying to build up a 15 elixir push and then just mow down your lane. It's waiting for you to make a mistake and then putting 10 elixir all in one lane. So for example, what Dan's key to victory here is when King K plays his giant skeleton or a collector, but probably the giant skeleton, especially if it's like behind the river, like behind the King Tower, you just go Giant Balloon in the other lane. And there's no way that King K is going to be able to stop that with just like minions or whatever before Dan either freezes them, arrows them, princesses them, something. If King K can play cautiously, play conservatively, get his pumps out, get an elixir advantage, and never be too vulnerable, I think that King K can pull this one off.
I think that's very true. My big thought is that when you play Giant Balloon and then Freeze, you have 14 elixir that does nothing.
I mean, right. Like, you're basically... What I'm worried about out of Dan's deck is basically minions, barbs, princess, or is that enough to defend, right?
Yeah.
Is that like enough to hold the full defense?
And if that's the case, then I think it's a very viable strategy to try to chip the tower as best you can, and then in overtime, just dump all your elixir into Giant Balloon Freeze and just...
Right.
It's going to take down the tower, so you have no opportunity to counterattack.
This game is probably very likely to end in a 3-crown because you have this like Rage Hog Giant Skeleton and you also have Giant Balloon. I don't like that early Balloon because it telegraphs the move a little bit, but he's going for it, right? He knows the deck right away. Here comes the arrows. Oh, the arrows do not come down.
Oh!
He plays minions on the left side to defend against the Giant Skeleton. Is it going to be enough to keep it off the tower? It is not!
Ah!
Oh! That is a 1-card Giant Balloon right there.
That hurts. And so I think strategically, and I have to imagine that this is a situation that Dan hasn't been in, but strategically, it is a much safer play to just arrow down the minions to make sure you secure your damage on the tower. Because in this situation, he tried to go for the defense, did not secure damage on the tower, and look at how badly that trade worked out for him.
Look, they're even on elixir, but look how much King K has on the board, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what you said, the 14 elixir that does nothing. That 10 elixir got killed, and that's a huge elixir advantage now for King K, and he's using that elixir advantage. He's basically killing 8 elixir worth of defense with that poison, and the Giant Skeleton is pretty much untouched. Yeah. Okay, so the Giant's actually, I think, a good distraction there, but and the minions will help. The minions might even be able to fly fast enough to get out of there.
Run,
but he
minions,
can't play
run!
Balloon. Not going to blow up. They're caught.
Oh my god.
Caught. Things have to be on the far side of Giant Skeleton usually to get away.
Yes. Unless I think it's like goblins maybe can get away.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this might do 1, 2. It's worth.
Oh, and the rage is down, and the Hog Rider can take advantage of it. He rides right past the bar and gets a second shot.
Oh my god!
Wow! I think Dan's fatal error in this game was going for that really early Giant Balloon, which I don't think you want to reveal early in the game that you're a Giant Balloon deck. You want to look like a Giant deck, and then when they join you in this big investment game where they're like, all right, I'll pump, you pump, whatever, then you're like, surprise, buddy, Giant Balloon. By telegraphing it early, he's giving it away.
There it is.
Oh, but it's still going. He has freeze. He's holding freeze. He's hovering it, freeze.
Yep. But the question is, if it's not in an all-in situation, 5 elixir, 4 elixir for things that don't do troop damage.
We're going to see a whole bunch coming down, and there's no poison in Dan's deck.
Oh, this is not good. The Hog Rider actually made it past the Barbarians, and if there's a Zapper of any kind, no, I don't think King K102 has any of that.
Actually, those barbs were great. The guards didn't do enough damage in order to kill them. I don't really know what the point of that elixir collector there was. Oh, to distract the guards! That's kind of an inventive play, but here comes the Giant Balloon, and he does have the poison down. He's got the rage. Is there a freeze coming down?
Freeze it! Freeze it!
Where's the freeze?
No!
Oh, he didn't have it! He just now has the 4 elixir for freeze.
He played minions on defense again.
Oh my god, if he had used freeze there, this game might have been won by Dan already.
Yeah, it's overtime. You just have to kill the tower. You don't have to worry about counterattack.
No race. In fact, the Giant Skeleton doesn't do damage until he dies, so you don't even really care.
Oh, he plays freeze defensively, but I think that Giant Skeleton might clear out enough elixir just to make that worth it. And a second Giant Skeleton gets played. It's going to be incredibly hard to keep these guys off the tower.
Keep off the tower? And here comes the Hog Rider in with it.
You can't play units on the Hog. There's the bomb.
Oh, you're right, because that's kind of like a poison there.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The barbs can wipe it out, though. No, the bomb's going to go off. Oh! King K takes game 1 of the round. Oh my god. Dude, this is a great Super Magical Cup.
King K102 played an elixir collector on the other side of it, and it was a legit play.
It was a legitimate play, yeah. I was like, why? I actually, you know what? You know what's so funny about that? We never see collectors played like that. I thought the entire time it was Dan's collector to distract the Giant Skeletons towards the middle. So when the tower started attacking the collector, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why is this tower attacking his own unit?
Oh my god! What is wrong with King K102?
He's got it, buddy. Take notes. All right, so remember, King K has 2 Giant Skeleton decks, so we can't say the Giant Skeleton deck is gone. Giant Skeleton deck A is out because he won that round. So Dan can either opt to stick with Giant Balloon or switch to his other deck. Let's see what game 2 looks like. So Dan opts to stick with Giant Balloon. King K switches over to the Giant Skeleton, Sparky, Goblin Barrel, Lumberjack deck, right? Now that we've seen both decks a few times, we know that Pump I think it's Pump, Zap, Lumberjack, and Giant Skeleton are the overlapping cards. The Minions, Sparky, Goblin Barrel, and Fire Spirits are the different ones.
He said it was an accident, but God, it was effective.
Oh, he said it was an accident. Hey, buddy. So King K accidentally played the Elixir Collector. I think that might be an underrated kind of legit play because it was a really good tank.
I think the reason why it was not as bad as it might feel is just because of the fact that Giant Balloon Freeze we keep talking about is Elixir advantage you're giving to your opponent because it's not actually turning into damage onto the tower.
So let me wait, before we start this, let me make sure I got the featured cards all queued up. We're going to go ahead. I got to make a Giant Skeleton card now. This is nuts. So I didn't make an Expo one until after Woody and Turtwig Day to top 8 with the Expo. So now I gotta make one for Giant Skeleton. So let's get into red, and we're going to keep the balloon up there. I think the giant balloon's a lot of fun. I think, the sad thing, Dan's got to be kicking himself because he could have won game 1 with that freeze. If he didn't defend, if he just went with the freeze, he would have won the game. And now he's on his back foot. He's one loss away from being hooked out of the tournament.
I think both times, it's interesting because both times Dan demonstrated a philosophy where he was like, I'm going to care about my defense over my offense, right? Where he played minions both times to defend against Giant Skeleton and then also to defend against, I forgot what it was, instead of playing arrows in the first push and then freeze in the second push.
I don't think we saw Dan cast arrows like once that whole game, and he's doing it again! Don't do this! Like, okay, here's what I would have done. I would have probably split the barbs behind my king tower. It's a neutral play. It puts stuff in both lanes. It doesn't make you too vulnerable. But look, by playing the balloon, he lets King K play the Sparky there. Because the Spark, the Giant's coming down that same lane. Oh! What do I know? Oh, the Zap doesn't kill it! One more! Oh my God! Great freeze. So there we go. We saw some kind of questionable freezes, or maybe not questionable, but some missed opportunities for freeze. That was a perfect example of when to use freeze, and that was just a balloon.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is there was no distraction for Dan. He didn't have to worry about defending anything, so he just focused all his elixir on aggressive play, and we see how effective it is. One swing. That's fine. 567 health, and the great thing is you have Princess in your deck, so you can always play Princess at the bridge to get one shot off and chip that tower away. And in fact, I actually think that you should focus on not spending elixir on balloon. Just do the giant. Make sure you have the defense ready. Just make sure you can survive because that Princess and arrows will chip that tower down. You have a safe way to close the game out.
We just saw a very interesting interaction there too, where Dan has to focus his arrows on the goblin barrels, but there's also minions on defense. So if he tries to do another giant balloon push, he's going to both want arrows to hit the minions on offense, but then he's also going to need to use it on defense against goblin barrel, and he doesn't have Zap in the deck. So there's not like a way to reset Sparky. He's going to have to freeze it, I guess.
This is interesting. I actually think, I don't know how trading 1-for-1 is. In one elixir or one tower down situations, does Giant Balloon, is Giant Balloon more effective, or...
This tower's gone.
Yeah.
This tower's super gone.
Man, and again, Giant on one side, but then Dan commits all his elixir on defense on the left side, and evidently you see that it's not enough to actually stop the push.
And you see the risk there, basically, of the Giant Balloon deck. It's a very high-risk, high-reward deck because you can take those towers. It's one of the best decks at winning. Like, if you can stall till overtime or the last 30 seconds, one of the best decks because it can just force push a tower and you can't do anything about it. But, like... if you telegraph it and you lose these big 10 elixir pushes for no elixir, like, you're done, right?
So this is a very interesting situation because King K102 is actually threatening 3 crowns. So now Dan has to defend this push.
Yeah. I think actually these barbs might be able to kill this Sparky before the bomb goes off, or at least kind of close to it.
My God.
They took a little too many seconds to like rearrange. So here we go. Dan is trying to push this tower down and gets 1 damage. Both of those towers are low, but there's no direct damage in the deck. There's no poison, there's no fireball, there's no anything like that to help push this down. And with 8 seconds left, I don't think he can do it.
Man, I think the Giant Balloon really could have worked, but I think there were some decision-making errors and strategical errors and kind of deciding. It's interesting because Giant Balloon is one of the decks that you need to be the most confident on in terms of pushing all in and trading towers.
Yeah.
And I think Dan was somewhat unsuccessful in that.
Yeah, I agree. Remember last week we watched Bayou in the top 4 round, and it just felt that Bayou maybe didn't have the experience to run his Goblin Barrel deck against some weird deck. I forget exactly what he came up against, but it was like some weird matchup where he was a good player because he made the top 4, but like just that one matchup confounded him. I feel like Dan is probably a good Giant Balloon player, but I really disagree with a lot of his like macro strategy in terms of how to approach that. He was able to do some damage early, but it wasn't really like I think what he needed to get through. But You know, here's what I love. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you watch our matches on YouTube, or you follow our YouTube channel or anything like that, you just see the top 8. But when you watch the full tournament footage or you watch the stream live, you get some really cool. You get to watch the development of players over time. We've talked about King K. We've seen his matches in weeks ago. We actually were mentioning him last week as a person to watch. And here we are, the very next week, King K pushes into the top 4 his first time in the money round. And honestly, the way he's been beating name players, I think it's fair to say that he might be favored to win it.
So, he's certainly playing like it right now.
Yeah, he's in it to win it for sure. And we go to the final top 8 match, and this will be Naruto Uzumaki returning to the top 8 after a week absence against Danny 20, making the first top 8 appearance.
And what was so popular last week was Rocket Cycle. Now we are only seeing the first iteration of it this week, where, I mean, I guess it was mostly Turtwig running Rocket Mirror, but...
This is actually Chicken Bob's deck. I mean, not that Danny didn't come up with it as well, but if you remember, we saw Chicken Bob a few weeks ago running what looked like a Minor Inferno deck. But actually, no, this is weird. This is different because Chicken Bob's deck didn't run Minor. It ran Rocket instead of Minor, and it ran Collector. So this one is Danny's opting to run Minor and Rocket, no Collector. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting.
We will see.
Okay. And then Naruto is running a pretty standard Giant Bowler Poison. It's actually like the exact deck list, right? Giant Bowler Poison. All right, cool.
That's the Giant Bowler Poison that we want.
Yeah, we're still in the top 8. All right.
All right, let's watch.
Whew. I'm going to put Ice Wizard up there for Danny. We haven't actually seen a lot of Ice Wizard today. He's been a relatively quiet performer given how unbelievably over-the-top good that card is.
Mm-hmm. We need an Ice Wizard in this room. That would be nice. Ice Spirit, Ice Wizard, Ice Things. Got the jump. Alright. Oh, this is going to cause the Mini P.E.K.K.A to win in extreme fashion. Oh my god. Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit.
And you see how good Minor and Ice Wizard are in conjunction. I mean, Minor's doing damage to the tower, but his whole thing is on great stats. Mm-hmm. The Ice Wizard slows it, so the Minor gets a whole lot more mileage out of it, while chipping in some extra damage on his own.
It's basically the true version of Minor Poison, if you think about it. One of the reasons why Minor Poison is so great is not only does the Poison take damage, but it slows down the tower, and the Minor can just...
First rocket of the day, folks!
And now the gauntlet is thrown down.
Yeah. And already, though, you know, I think that was it wasn't greedy at all to go after that Collector. I mean, of course you want to do that, but it's funny because...
Oh, no!
Oh, no, the Mini P.E.K.K.A didn't get pulled one swing!
Oh, my god.
This might be real trouble for Danny here. He gets the Ice Wizard down to help block.
Man.
Oh, that could have been so much worse.
So the old Orange Juice 3-4 placement, as evidence in the video, is great for pulling Building Chasers, but different units have different sight ranges, and the Mini P.E.K.K.A in most unit chasers... we'll ignore it.
Right, and that was also a function of the Mini P.E.K.K.A coming around the right side of the Giant. It actually pushed him even further over towards the right side of the screen, towards those new buildings that we can actually see this week because of the iPad ratio.
Woohoo! HD widescreen Super Magical Cup experience.
And once again, actually another level 3 bowler around.
Tagged on the tower.
Oh, and then I think it pushed... Oh, it didn't retarget to the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah. Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to get pushed away.
And here he goes. Let's see if the Mini P.E.K.K.A this time gets caught by the Inferno Tower.
No! The Ice Spirit does. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yep. 3-4. You got to be careful of it.
Oh no! And the rocket comes down again. So that is smart by Naruto to play it over there because he knows it's forcing the player who's trying to win by rocketing you to rocket, you know, the tower that he's probably not going to kill. He's not going to try to go for the win on.
Yes. I agree.
Man, these Inferno Towers are just unreal. Oh, actually, I don't think that knockback would have... Oh, it did! Oh, my God.
Wow.
Ice Spirit, too. Incredible defense by Danny. He's going to return about 7 elixir worth of stuff on the counter push, and with the Minor there distracting that Mini P.E.K.K.A might be able to chop up that bowler. One more swing. Oh, it's going to rocket the Musketeer!
Oh! One more rocket, I believe.
No, 2 more. Or rocket and... there's
and a
poison,
zap.
No...
Danny has zap.
Yes, you're right. Zap will do it.
But, watch out! Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Totally lose right here if that Ice Wizard goes down.
Okay. He handled the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
And the bowler doesn't do enough damage.
Yep.
So I think here he's got Zap Rocket. He can win right here with
Zap
Elixir.
Rocket.
Don't Minor.
Do the math. Or you can do Minor Rocket, I guess.
No
Maybe.
minor. I mean, okay, fine.
Yeah, okay.
You got the one attack. But you didn't need to.
Yeah.
That was an unnecessary risk. It even cost more elixir. It wasn't even like it was an elixir discount.
Yeah.
Remember the damage of your spells, folks. So Danny wins that one, but 67 damage on a zap, 493 on a rocket.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that could have been worse.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Woo. So Danny takes game 1 from Naruto. Put that one up there. And Naruto, one game in, finds himself on his back foot already. He has to win this next game or else we're going to have yet another 2-0 match. So Danny has to switch from his deck and play now his other deck, which is an archetype we haven't seen in a while. Minor Furnace really broke out onto the scene after, at the very, very start of Season 2. I remember the very first event we ran was an 800-player tournament for Royale Tourney Week that Woody won and Malcade got second. Malcade got second by debuting this awesome Minor Furnace deck. His Furnace had just been buffed right before.
Yes.
And this became a popular archetype, but has slowly fallen out of favor primarily because of Bowler. So here we are. We have a giant Bowler deck. So let's go ahead and switch Bowler down to the bottom. What do you see? What do you think are some of the key matchups?
So I really feel like against the Furnace, it's very hard to fight for the same reasons that Crossbow has a difficulty fighting these decks against the big bodies, especially with Bowler coming down a lane. Every single Fire Spirit that comes running down that lane will be eliminated by the Bowler. And it's a very easy choice, right? You just place your Bowler down and you never have to worry about the Fire Spirits ever again. What I'm interested to see is how does the Lumberjack fit into this picture? Obviously, he wants you to chop away big bodies, but how does that synergize with Minor Fire Spirit or Minor Fire Spirit?
Yeah, I almost feel like this is one of the decks where I don't really like the Lumberjack. I don't see a lot of advantage for the Rage. I think it would be better with Mini P.E.K.K.A. because, you know, the Fire Spirits can block for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A. does more damage. Maybe he really cares about the speed, the very fast foot speed. That could be kind of relevant. I'm not sure.
We'll see. Let's take a look.
And this will be the last match of the top 8. Then we move on to the top 4, the money rounds.
Yes, I'm trying to make sure that I got the right man. Okay, cool. All right. Show me what the Furnace got.
And Naruto opens with the Elixir Collector in the middle. That's a good placement. I don't know if he knows that this is a Minor Furnace deck, right? But that's a good defensive placement against incoming minors. It'll be much harder for Danny to go after. He opts to poison. Oh, look at that. The Musketeer just walks right around it. Just sees the poison and just stutter steps away. Ooh, and that was a little dicey, but it did get in there. It was able to sit there and block. Even if that Inferno Tower kills the Giant, actually, the Ice Spirit caused the Musketeer to retarget and took it off the damage. That could have been a significant amount of damage to the tower otherwise. But I think Naruto's got to be happy with that push because no counter push, did some damage, and he's actually still ahead in Elixir because of the Collector.
3-4. We've seen so many situations of 3-4 tower placement.
Yeah. Opts to go with the Collector because he just saw the Minor. The Minor came up on defense, so he knows that there's not going to be a Minor right away. And by the time that Minor cycles back, Naruto's Elixir Collector will be lower, and if he wants to play a second Collector, then he plays it in the middle.
Yes.
So the middle-placed upcoming tower, the upcoming Collector to be placed in the middle will be safe against the Minor. Ooh, I don't know. That's a kind of early Ice Spirit. I get why you would do it, right? But I don't know if that's going to stop. Ooh, that was...
zap.
I think he wanted to zap. I think it would have been better to zap the Musketeer than just the Musketeer's alive.
Absolutely.
You didn't save the Bowler.
Yep. I agree. 100%. Man, that Musketeer is still gonna fine.
Think about that. We talk about that low health troops are some of the most dangerous things in the game because you've already spent your elixir to try to kill them and failed at it.
Yes.
So they are still generating 100% of their offensive output to kill them. That Musketeer that survived the poison killed what? Bowler, Giant, counterattack, right?
Yeah. And as kind of we expected, I think this Furnace is having a hard time finding value.
Yeah. Well, especially because now the Bowler of Naruto's can go on the... Oh, he didn't. He played on the left side.
I think he's just trying to make sure... Because essentially, if he ignores that Furnace, then that means Danny is down 4 elixir for this defense, right?
That's a good point.
He might be looking to push a big all-in push here.
And this is where Poison can help tie it back up for the Minor Furnace deck.
Oh, boy. And a second Giant.
Wow.
Yep. Oh, God. This is going to hurt.
And that sucks because now the Inferno Tower's out. The Inferno Tower's about to come up, but look at this. This is...
Oh, no, not like this. No, oh my
it's targeted.
God.
Oh, and the Musketeer's out of range. It pushed the Musketeer too far away. Why didn't he play it closer, I wonder? Naruto takes the tower. Danny pops up with the miner there, and it looks like it was successful in terms of getting rid of the collector. 5 seconds left, though. I don't think Danny can take this tower and be quite impressed if he could. And Naruto ties it up 1 game to 1 game.
Yeah.
Holding on, refusing to go away quietly into the night.
Inferno Tower against a Cycle Giant. Playing Inferno Tower as a reaction after the Giant is already across the bridge is actually very difficult to do, because in almost every scenario, you have to play it close to the Giant to make sure that it tags onto the Inferno rather than the tower.
Right. Is Naruto Uzumaki, is that the name of like Naruto from Naruto?
Yes.
The anime. That is the Naruto.
Yes, it is the one true Naruto.
Can I tell you that I'm so bad about knowing anime that I literally was going to be like, he activated his trap card, and then I had to like think about it and be like, that's not the same thing.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That hurt my soul.
This is the last actual game of the top 8, because the winner of this game, Hell or High Water, is going to advance. We've got Naruto playing my favorite variant on Giant Poison list, which is the Giant Prince deck. The thing to look for out of Naruto is that the Prince you can play behind the Giant. The Prince will start to charge and kind of get stuck behind the Giant. Like, he won't be moving at full speed. But this is okay, because the Prince then functions like a loaded shotgun. Like, he's just behind the Giant, and as soon as you play anything in front of that Giant, it gets aced. If you try to drop the mini P.E.K.K.A. in front of a Giant to kill it, the Prince just goes bonk and then quickly wipes it out. Danny is playing the Miner Furnace deck that he's going to have to win with here. Let's see if I can put Miner down here. What else do you think's going on? Got Lumberjack from both teams, too.
I really don't know. I think Danny's deck obviously had much success, right? Because he got all the way to the top 8. I'm not quite seeing the synergy here in his deck. I think at the very least, a reason why this deck might be successful because you have the basic amounts of Miner, Poison, Inferno Tower, right? And if you play good defense, Miner, Poison, Inferno Tower or rather Miner, Poison specifically, is enough to kind of chip towers down, right? But where does the Furnace come into the picture? Where does the Lumberjack come into the picture? And are there other cards that you could put in that spot that would achieve the same thing but more effective?
I think Musketeer is going to be great for Danny because that's one of the things. Like, I mean, everything there is melee. Like, every single thing in Uzumaki's deck. I'm just going to start saying Uzumaki because everyone makes fun every time I say. And when I say Naruto, they don't like it. If I say Naruto, they don't like it. So I don't know how to pronounce this name. So it's going to be Uzumaki.
Uzumaki.
Mr. Uzumaki.
That's much better. Uzumaki. We'll just... It's okay.
I can pronounce Japanese names. Words. Hiroshima.
Yes.
I don't know. I only know a few. Like seppuku.
Seppuku. Sudoku.
Samurai. Yeah, I got it. Okay, enough of this. All right.
I want to see a samurai card in Clash Royale. That'd be cool.
Actually, I would love that. I think it would even fit into the lore a little bit because if you see, there is kind of like these like Japanese style roofs on these buildings. Okay, so we get off early. The Furnace comes down.
Oh
God,
like that's
the Rage.
Could have been better positioned.
We know what actually the guards in front, they get wiped out, so the Lumberjack is free just to go ahead and wipe out that Giant. But similar to how the Bowler holds off those Furnaces, you can see the Giant does the same. The Giant has so much hit points, it kind of just soaks them. Ooh, the throw! Wow! Great Ice Spirit there. Got a lot of extra free damage. That Prince is in no way going to hit that tower.
Yep.
And it might not even hit the Fire Spirit.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy. Look at that timing.
What is that, 200 damage onto the tower? 100.
Yeah.
170-ish.
Now, the downside about Furnaces, of course, Furnaces don't generate Elixir for you.
Yes.
So while both players could stack up Furnaces, like, you know, Danny could stack up Furnaces and Uzumaki could stack up Elixir Collectors, I think if Uzumaki were to get 2 Elixir Collectors, that would be probably more effective than Danny getting out 2 Furnaces. Allows him to snowball a lot better.
Though, the cascading effect of Fire Spirits, you always only need 1 Fire Spirit to tank. So if you have 4 Fire Spirits, then you get 3 Fire Spirits worth of damage as opposed to just 1 Fire Spirit. So, it's something interesting to think about. The Furnace got denied. Inferno Tower is zapping away at the Giant. And this is what we're talking about. What if that was a Mega Minion?
What do you mean?
What if that Musketeer was a Mega Minion instead?
Would it be more damage?
You would be able to handle that giant in a much quicker fashion rather than much as you're pinging away.
I thought you were talking about the lumberjack. I was like, no, lumberjack does more damage. Oh, lumberjack gets one swing there on the elixir collector.
Nice. Yeah, that's where it's commonly you see Danny in these situations.
Right in.
Oh god!
Lumberjack comes down, but because of the attack so quickly, because of the quick attack speed of the lumberjack, even if you cast a minion up there, it's not like there's some big long wind up before it attacks. Lumberjack just starts going after your defense right away.
Okay, Danny actually was thinking about committing the miner, but because the prince was coming down the lane, he decided to. It's still gonna do.
Oh, hits it. Nope.
The poison is actually really helping. Oh no. Oh my god, just the tower. Enough damage to make sure the prince did not get a bunch of swings off, but that poison was really slowing that tower down.
And just like that, the game's actually tied up.
Yeah. It just goes to show how bursty giant prince combination decks are.
Yeah, the chat is as equally confused as we are about some of the sequencing here, but it's crazy because they're playing a lot of mind games, right? Like you might wonder like, well, why do this then that, then this then that, and the other thing, the other side. Oh no, the lumberjack's gonna die first, which is exactly what you not want. You don't want. Oh no. The rage comes down, but it doesn't hit the giant. It was too far off.
Yes. Very dangerous situation. 273 health, and Naruto does have a poison in his deck, so he can chip this game away.
And I think the furnaces are going to blow up here on the guards. I'll bet you Uzumaki doesn't have a ton of experience against minor furnace decks because it's become so unpopular over the last few weeks. I don't like that Inferno placement. I think it was a little too close. Could have been one square at least further away.
And this is what you were talking about the effectiveness of a prince. Just one shot that musketeer and then took down the Inferno tower, and now it's about to charge. Oh, goodbye!
Uzumaki takes it and moves on to the top 4 to fight Springtrap. Uzumaki has been very consistent over the last few weeks.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no.
Wait. Yeah. My man.
All right.
Still getting used to this 2-controller stuff. I like it better, though. Rainey's picking the matches. I'm operating the XSplit setup. It's a pretty cool little thing here. Let's move to the top 8.
Pretending to be a Hindu god now.
Yes, we are. We're like an octopus playing the drums. Coming at you from all angles.
All right, hold on. Let me try to figure out. Okay, so, yeah. Vizard versus King. Naruto versus Springtrap.
I mean, I gotta watch that Vizard King match. I'm getting itchy. I gotta see that. I'm excited to see 2 of the best players in the Super Magical Cup go at it here. This is exactly what I'm here for.
Vizard versus King. Let me just make sure that we aren't missing any of the games, that this is indeed the first game. And I believe so. Okay, hold on, Remy Hammy. Okay.
Game 1?
Let's do it.
All right. So game 1 of the top 4, Vizard v King K. Now King K we know is running the double giant skeleton decks.
Oh my god.
This one is the Hog Rider Lumberjack version as opposed to the Sparky Zap one that's going to come a little later.
Yes.
Let's go ahead. We haven't actually put Hog Rider up here once, I don't think.
Oh my god. If King K102 wins, Sparky will have won a Super Magical Cup tournament, and King K102 will be the...
And Giant Skeleton, too. Like, Giant Skeleton's never won. Actually, you know what?
Goblin Barrel's never won either.
Is this the first ever appearance of a Giant Skeleton in the top 4? It might be. Even going back to Season 1. I don't know if anyone's ever...
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And Vizard, though, but Vizard has some good matchups here. Vizard has Bowler in his deck that's going to really crush the guards, the Lumberjack, the Hog, right? Those 3 cards are all very weak to Bowler. So it's going to be a challenge for King K to try to get those cards away from the Bowler, right? Neither side have Minor. Vizard doesn't have Poison, so it's going to be hard for him to attack the enemy collectors, but an advantage for Vizard is that he can play his Ice Spirit and Skeletons, the double 1-cost cards, and probably cycle collectors very quickly.
Yes. Let us see. Let's see how this game plays out. King K102 has been on a tear.
I can't remember. Has Nader's top 4'd before? I know he's top 8, but I can't remember if Nader's top 4'd with Giant Skeleton. I know he top 4'd, but I can't remember if it was with Giant Skeleton when he did.
I don't think with Giant Skeleton.
I'm not sure. Well, either way, certainly Giant Skeleton's never won. Sparky has never won. Sparky has made a top 4 appearance before on the back of Trainer Nick's decks.
Yeah, but King K102 is steadily looking to break that record. Yep. I want King K102 to win so badly.
I know the chat is even split down the middle because a lot of people mention that Vizard is a 2-time finalist, and a lot of people want him to finally break through. Oh, the Ice Spirit hit the Mini P.E.K.K.A. That's really unfortunate, but that's a great placement against the Giant Skeleton because on the back side the Mini P.E.K.K.A. can run away. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the Ice Spirit freeze and it's going to be a zap now. The freeze survives. And the extra damage made that Mini P.E.K.K.A. counter push not work. If the Mini P.E.K.K.A. had dodged that Ice Spirit, I think he would have counterattacked for some damage.
Nice. Stops the Lumberjack.
Just as we called it, Vizard already has his second pump out with the first one at half health because he has 2 separate 1-cost cards that he can use. to cycle back. Oh no, though! 3 cost minions!
Nice. Zap Ice Spirit, 3 for 3, and this opens up the Giant to do a lot of damage, and there's nothing to stop it.
Still great defense, though. I like the guards surrounding you. You minimize the amount of damage the bowler is doing, but you're right that, like, oh my god, the Giant is still attacking the tower. What do you do?
Yeah.
And Vizard are using that elixir advantage to keep pushing on the other side. Now he's starting a split push.
Oh my god, King K102 is getting dunk-a-dunked. I don't think I've seen a dunk so hard since what's-his-face did that to Woody. God, I can't remember now.
It was, oh god, I don't remember. Was it Darth Jarjar?
Darth Jarjar, yes, the 3 Musketeers.
They were clanmates, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Ow! Oh, I thought that was a. Oh, I thought that was a.
Right. This could not have started off for King K's first top 4 appearance. This could not have started off any uglier, right? With a minute 10 to go, he's already down a tower, and his second tower is looking very, very shifty. So we'll see what happens here. I think he's going to want to get some more practice because he's going to have to beat. Oh, actually, this giant bowler deck might be out, right? If Vizard wins with it, it's out. But King K. I don't know. Does he want to keep showing off all the cards in his deck? Like, it might even be worth it just to let him sweep you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, a good player could always just go back and look at the history, but yeah, you're right. If you want to keep information, just let it happen.
Ooh, not looking good.
Yeah, I think this is rough. King K102 knows it's done. I don't think he
I think we're gonna go ahead and save a little time and put Vizard up 1-0 in this match. Ooh.
Yeah, 25 seconds to take down 2 almost max health towers.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a single combination of Clash Royale cards that can do that in the next 15 seconds. But good news for King K is that while Vizard is up a game, that giant bowler deck is out, off the list, right? Take it out, throw it away. Oh, wait, yeah. So I can't remember what Vizard's second deck was. Well, it'll be interesting to see if King K sticks with his other deck or not. King K does stick with the Hog Rider Giant Skeleton version. So
and I mean, looking at these matches today, I actually think King K102's deck is fantastic at destroying these minor Inferno Tower defensive decks.
Why is that? Because I was going to say, looking at it, I think Vizard actually has the advantage because he's now playing a super defensive deck against one of these attacky decks. So what are you seeing that I'm not seeing here?
I think the fact that the Lumberjack, the Giant Skeleton, and the Hog Rider can blitz towards the Inferno Tower and eliminate that as an option, especially if you put units in front to defend the Inferno Tower. They're still got to walk into that Giant Skeleton bomb, and then you have the Hog Rider that supersedes all of that and just goes straight to doing damage on the tower. I think all of those combined means that all of a sudden, really, your Inferno Tower is not the mainstay of pulling units away from your Crown Towers anymore, because it gets eliminated in one push, and then the second push that happens, now you don't have that option, and then what are you left with? You have a bowler that can push away Hog Riders, but the Giant Skeleton doesn't really get moved. The Lumberjack moves really fast and can actually turn the bowler around pretty quickly. I mean, I think there's a lot of options for King K102 to push in, and he still has poison to chip damage away.
Yeah, and even if just like the Giant Skeleton is what draws all of the Inferno Tower aggro, that lets a Hog Rider just slip right under and get into the tower.
Yes.
I'm excited about this. You've actually kind of convinced me. I thought this might be hugely in favor of Vizard, but I get what you're saying. We've already seen King K beat one of these decks in the earlier rounds, doing kind of what we talked about, right? Slipping hogs through, building up the Giant Skeleton pushes behind his King Tower. I think if King K has been researching his opponent, he should know this is Inferno Tower deck. I think this is smart. Go early, because he might not have the Inferno Tower in his opening hand. If there's ever a time to do it, this is the time to do it. He only got a little bit of damage through, but I think that was strategically the smart thing to do. And now there's not an Inferno Tower.
Yeah, and the Inferno Tower's positioning was atrocious, right?
Yeah. King K, though, a little elixir advantage for it. He may not realize it, but he is 2 elixir ahead. Opts to go and play that collector early. Smart placement in the middle there so that miner can't come at him.
Yes. And now if Vizard wants to play the collector, you have to notice that King K102, because he played the collector first and it's a long time, he's actually going to get the pump and allow him to punish even harder the collector that Vizard is playing. Yeah. So it's not even a handshake anymore. It's like King K102 extends his hand, and then Vizard goes to shake it, and King K102 sucker punches him.
Yeah, I don't like it, yeah. Okay, so that's a 7 elixir push there for Vizard. He's got kind of a split push coming down. Oh no, actually I think this Lumberjack with the rage...
You need to play the Inferno, but it's too late!
Oh! This is what we're talking about! Get in there, and the guards are up there! And the bowler can't actually target him. Look, the hog's going!
Is that close enough to explode the collector?
Oh, it's a good point, is it? I don't know,
my god, look at the damage!
The tower's down! King K takes the tower early on! And I don't think the bomb is going to reach the collector. It does!
Oh!
Wow! I'm wrong. They are right, though. He was able to put... I really like his cycle early because he spent Hog, Guard, Ice Spirit right off the start.
Yep.
That's 8 elixir off the bat, but it forces opponent to kind of spend all 10 of his elixir trying to defend it, and that allowed King K to get to his collector while not giving his opponent a time to play their own collector.
Absolutely. Lumberjack gets played, but this is too little too late, and what's interesting is now he can play Giant Skeletons in an aggressive spot. That's so little space you have.
You're right, and he can even play it on top of the Inferno Tower if he really needs to. He's got the guards there already, and the rage comes down, so the guards are just on it right away.
Watch out, that Giant Skeleton is getting dangerously close to stuff, and there's a Hog Rider that just passes by everything. Giant Skeleton is walking up.
Still walking. Oh my god, he's close enough.
The
rage seems really key to this deck, and the bomb goes off again!
Every single time, King K102.
Minor note, I don't know if I'd put the collector in the middle anymore from King K. Put it on the top left corner, I think, but these are minor issues because I think King K has a massive advantage with only 30 seconds to go. Although he could lose this tower here, there's still a chance because if that right tower goes down and Vizard can just play some really expert defense, maybe, but no, that's already, that poison and Ice Spirit alone is enough to kill it.
Yes. Oh my goodness, King K102 with the Giant Skeleton making it happen. There's the second tower. Bomb gets dropped in somewhere not important, but it's already too little too late for Vizard.
Right. King K is my hero right now because I have yet to see a deck that can consistently beat these minor Inferno control super defensive grindy decks, and it seems like King K might have cracked the mystery, right? This deck seems uniquely positioned to just wreck like, I'm gonna be slow, I'm gonna build up, I'm gonna put an Inferno Tower down. And that deck seems to be able to crush through your Inferno Towers very, very well.
It's very interesting to me that somebody in chat says King K is winning because he had a collector at the start. That's absolutely not the case. He played 3 cards a cycle.
That's true. He didn't have a collector at the start.
Even if he did, there's very little RNG that will make it so that you cannot get your collector in 3 cycles, in 3 cards. That's practically going through your whole deck.
And I think he knew it too. I mean, I don't think that was like a lucky accident thing. I think that was a strategic decision. He says, I don't see a collector in my opening hand. It's not in my 5th card either, so I'm not going to go like Ice Spirit, okay, collector. He's like, I see I have 5 cards. The best hogs are the first hogs, and if you know he's an Inferno Tower deck, you want to try to do that 1,000 damage on the first push before he's got his cycle set up, so that later on you can just poison your way to victory or get another hog push in or whatever.
And what a lot of people need to realize is that low-cost cards are actually so great at cycling. Even if you don't see, you know you have 4 cards, and then you know the 5th, right? And so really, you know exactly what your card list is going to be if you play Ice Spirit guards. That's 4 elixir, and you already know the rest of your deck.
Right.
You know? And so it's very easy to identify what your cycle is going to be.
Now, with both players in Game 3, the critical Game 3 determined who goes to the finals. Both players are playing their alternate deck. Vizard has the same, minor Inferno control deck. I kind of think now he's in a really good advantage because, well, King K's deck is much more of the traditional giant bowler sort of setup. It's obviously a lot more high-risk cards. Giant Skeleton's more high-risk, high-reward than Giant is, and Sparky's more high-risk, high-reward than Bowler. And what the hell, Lumberjack's more high-risk, high-reward than Mini P.E.K.K.A. But I think that because this deck follows a much more standard game plan of like, I'm going to put 12 plus elixir in a lane and kind of push down, kind of favors Vizard now. But then again, I could be wrong, right?
Yes.
Like King K, I'm sure, is built with this deck in mind. Let me update these featured cards.
Goblin Barrel.
I kind of want to see Sparky make a final. Sparky's made the top 4, I think, more than once.
I want to see Sparky and Goblin Barrel and Giant Skeleton win.
The key thing here is going to have to be ye old Inferno Tower.
Ye old Inferno Tower. But King K102 seems very, very well versed in defeating Inferno Towers. So let me make sure that this is the game that we're watching. This is game 1, game 2. Okay, cool. All right, I nearly messed it up. All right, we're good.
Whew. And Collector in Vizard's opening hand, but not in King K's hand. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I think Vizard probably wants to play it in the middle. He probably assuming he knows it's a Goblin Barrel deck because he's looked at King K's decks from the prior rounds. I think it's a good punish. You go in with 9 elixir to try to stop it. The Giant Skeleton doesn't die to the bowler, neither does the minions, right? And with the... Actually, wow, that Giant Skeleton has a lot of health left.
Oh my god, and the barrel! You have a zap!
Ooh, that's too close. He does! He gets there! Wow, and you think about it because Bowler does so little damage and doesn't knock back.
That's like some 900 damage
for
that
lot.
bomb.
Yeah.
That's so much damage, actually. That's
Wow.
insane.
So King K, despite actually, he's a little behind in elixir because they have about the same elixir, but there's a pump out for Vizard, so they both get an elixir collector out. A little bit of an elixir advantage for Vizard, but he's really going to have to convert that advantage into damage on the enemy towers in order to even this game up. Because right now, as is, he might be able to die just from random goblin barrels and poisons and kind of stuff like that.
King K102. God, he's just playing his cards so effectively right now.
And and that's one of the major strategic advantages of playing a homebrew deck as opposed to a meta deck, is that
Mind game?
you pull things off that other people just don't even know that that's what you can do, right?
Yes. Rage Giant Skeleton is going to be walking really fast. Oh, I think it's Rage.
I don't think it hits the tower.
Yeah, you might be right.
But
Yeah,
it does
that's
get
one
the
square
bullet.
away. That was so cool.
Yeah, you're right though, but that was not very many steps away.
That was the Usain Bolt of giant skeletons. Jeez.
Surprising amount what do you think is going to happen next week when Rage only costs 2 elixir?
Oh my
A lot
God.
of these deck ideas, like we've seen the Raged P.E.K.K.A.s and the Raged... Oh my God! Rage Guard... Or I'm sorry, the Poison Guard is good because the slower attacking tower has to take some damage there. And we said that he had to convert his elixir advantage into some sort of damage, and look at that, we have it here. There's no zap any... Oh, he did have zap, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But there we're tied up again. And actually, Vizard has more pumps out because...
Yes. He's been focusing on placing the pumps down.
Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting to me is identifying if that was just a cycle Goblin Barrel, or like what was the idea of the Goblin Barrel behind there. Now we know that there's no immediate zap for the Sparky, but it's very easy, as you see, for Vizard to cycle back to the zap.
Yep.
But likewise, it's very easy for King to cycle back to the tower,
That's
or
one of
the barrel.
Oh, he got a Rage coming down though for this Giant Skeleton, and I think that...
Oh, he zapped! Oh no! He zapped!
So the beer goes down.
363?
Oh, and it shoots the miner behind.
But
Here
the
comes
giant
King K on the right
skeleton-
side. But that's the side you don't really care so much about because we're going into overtime here in 30 seconds. It's going to do how much? 1898?
Interesting, he's constantly playing the
do
giant
damage.
skeleton on the right side. I think because he wants to make sure
Defensive.
that... Yes, he wants to make sure he's defending anything coming down the right lane. The instant you put the giant skeleton there, if you commit any troops, most of them are going to be exploded by the bomb. He knows that the health level on the left side is so
The
low.
miner's going though, and the Sparky takes too long to warm up.
There's no zap! There's no zap on hand. The Goblin Barrel could do it. The one Goblin in the
Oh,
back.
it's got 67 health left. There's zap left. 67 is the exact amount of damage. That was an exact win. Oh my God. I was like, 67 is the exact number. That's the number. How much health that does. Whoa, that was a perfect kill. And look at that. The other tower. Can we... Oh my God. Whoa. Whoa! Let's keep it here for a hot second. It's not, we don't have to go right back just yet. Let's go ahead and put King K up there. Vizard! Oh my God, I feel bad for Vizard. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Gets bumped in the top 4 round. Another dominant performance. Honestly, one of the most consistent players. King K cannot be stopped these last 2 weeks. He's only lost in the last 2 weeks to Patriots 34, who won that tournament, right? So
Where's Patriots?
how good is King K? Like, we don't know what the upper boundary of his skill can be because he's beating so many good players, and the only person he's lost to is the person who won that week's tournament.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God! Whoa! So I think, that was just some knowledge. I think what you mentioned that he noticed as soon as Vizard played that zap, he threw the Goblin Barrel right away. And even though Ice Spirit and some other cards came down to defend, it really came down to the key of like knowing, well, like
It's gotta get
you don't
him
have
out.
zap
Yeah.
right now, and this is
Yeah.
the card that I'm waiting to play. I'm waiting for you to play zap so I can throw this card.
Oh my God, King K102.
Whew! All right.
Funniest part about that game is that Vizard was the one who actually had Collector in his hand and he played it first. Just saying.
Just calling it.
Just saying, buddy. It's not always
You're right
about
though. He
having
was. It
Collector
was.
first.
Yeah. And actually, he had the elixir advantage. I think
Yeah.
through most of the game. The harder part, I think, was that Vizard was struggling to convert his elixir advantage
Yes.
into actual damage on the tower. And even though maybe King K was falling behind an elixir, he was pushing through a couple hundred damage every time he lost the elixir, which did add up. Okay.
Zap does deal 68 damage.
And we go to the... Oh my God, we're still in the top 4. I thought that was the finals. Oh my
No,
God,
no,
I
no,
was
no,
so
no.
like... Oh my God.
We're still in the top 4.
Top 4.
So King K102 has one more match
Oh
to
my
win.
God.
We're going to figure out who King K102 has to fight against. Springtrap has been playing really well, and Uzumaki, Naruto Uzumaki, has been demonstrating some very good play across the recent SMCs. And I think these are 2 players that are really high-level names. Obviously, in my mind, King K102 has a lot of hype behind him, and there's a lot of excitement, and there's this star player element behind him that I feel like I feel like this, for some reason, the stars have aligned for him today, and I almost feel like he's the winner already.
He's in it to win it. You know what? If nothing else, King K has generated a lot of new fans over the last 2 weeks, and that's what we love to see. The reason why we do the Super Magical Cup is to find the best players in the game. Who's the best Clash Royale player? You know what I mean?
We don't know.
So we're
what happened to Jason?
Yeah, Season 1, Season 2, we're using all of these tournaments and the invitationals and the championship that happens on October 15th to determine, you know what? Who is the best, most consistent Clash Royale player? And if you would have asked me at the end of Season 1, I would have said Woody, maybe Clyde at the start of Season 2, but here we are closing in at the end of Season 2, and there's a lot of new names that have been really, really consistent here in the last 5 or so weeks. So let's take a look. We have Springtrap, who we haven't seen in a while. He was actually the very first top 8 match that we watched. So Springtrap's been off of the TV for a while. Had the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck, which I'm so glad is making a top 4 appearance. Love this deck. Going up against the Giant Prince Poison with Lumberjack. We mentioned about Uzumaki's deck in the prior round that all melee here. 100% melee. Now, if you have a deck that's 100% melee, do you really want to be tangling with P.E.K.K.A.s and Princes? I don't know.
Absolutely. I think the P.E.K.K.A.s and Princes are really, really good. And I think this is actually Springtrap's stronger deck out of the two. So, we'll see.
Woohoo.
All right. Let me make sure this is the match that we are watching. Okay. We're getting into it.
That match, if people were mentioning that match was good enough to be the final, that last match. You're right. That was...
It felt like a finals match. That's crazy. All right. Collector first on Uzumaki's side. Princess is a really good card to start out with.
It's a great way to invest Elixir. It stays back. It's a really long range. Even if they attack almost either lane, the Princess can usually hit it. The Prince is great charge. Going to go and just speed bump over that little lady. And unfortunately, the minions get targeted by the tower. Oh, that's going to take the shield off and not do the full damage.
Yes.
You can see that each swing takes off about 30% of the health. So if he would have gotten a clean charge on the health bar, it would have been almost a one hit, right?
Yes.
Maybe just the charge and one more swing would have killed it.
See, this Ice Wizard is pretty high health moving into this area, and he's going to actually protect the Prince.
Oh, that Lumberjack. We already know that mini P.E.K.K.A.s cannot absorb shots really well. The Prince didn't turn around. Uzumaki's finding himself in big time trouble right now. The minions kind of help, and the rage speeds him up to get him back to the front line. That P.E.K.K.A. is great on defense. I think he can't zap the minions, right? So the minions are going to get a lot of damage in on that P.E.K.K.A. Ooh, great.
Interesting. It's 3 shots, and then the P.E.K.K.A. has to swing one tiny little time for the 4th shot to defeat the Giant. If there's a little bit of extra damage there, the P.E.K.K.A. will be much more efficient in defeating the Giant.
Oh, the Prince is getting
Oh, wow. The range, though.
That Prince, Springtrap's earlier Prince, though, I love the shield to take the tower shot there. That charge does about 700 damage, and the Prince's shield about 250.
Yes.
So you are basically taking about 450 damage and preventing it by playing a Dark Prince on defense. Unfortunately, Dark Prince, it doesn't have very good single target damage.
And so it's still, I mean, I think you have to kite the Prince a little bit to make it the most effective it can be.
Right.
But still a great choice for defense. And Prince costs 5, Dark Prince costs 4, so fine. You know, we'll take that trade.
The Giant's a good investment in the back. That's 5 elixir. Puts in. He's almost back up to 10 already, and the Giant hasn't even reached that tower. And here's where I really like Prince. I think Prince is probably your best play here. You don't want the Lumberjack to run around it. Oh, he's going to split push. Oh, because the P.E.K.K.A.'s in the other lane. So since P.E.K.K.A.'s in the other lane, you know that he can't just like block your whole thing with P.E.K.K.A.
Wow, the one Prince actually didn't get his charge, but Zap is going to handle that effectively. The question is, how are you going to handle the right side now that you've spent so much elixir on the left?
The P.E.K.K.A.'s still attacking the Giant, which is allowing that Lumberjack to go wild.
All right, Ice Wizard into the back.
Ooh, lots of damage on both sides. This is not a very defensive matchup in the best way possible.
Princess. Best legendary in the game.
She's so dumb. Yeah,
just went past all the elixir. They ignored it. It was like, right, I'm just going to hit the tower. Oh
even with the smaller splash radius, it's not that... Oh, and the rage minions can be real scary here, because even the zap doesn't kill him.
Uh-oh. And there's a lot of health on the Giant.
Off that thing. Wow.
Could this be the comeback?
Oh, no, wow! I was like, one more punch! The Ice Wizard, there's actually the lifesaver there. Springtrap's Ice Wizard was taking those minion attacks and not letting him hit the tower.
And was slowing down the Giant, so the Giant couldn't get the last swing that he needed.
So Springtrap takes game 1 over Uzumaki with his Prince double P.E.K.K.A deck, but that deck is now eliminated for the rest of the match. We saw P.E.K.K.A double Prince win the Super Magical Cup 2 weeks ago in the hand of Bakalol. Could this be its time? It has to. We'll see. Of course, there's Naruto Uzumaki is not giving up on that just yet. We're going with Giant Bowler. Let's go ahead and put him up there.
I don't think P.E.K.K.A has won a Super Magical Cup either, now that I think about it. I don't think P.E.K.K.A's even ever made it
was
to
double Prince, but not P.E.K.K.A. Yeah. Are you sure? I'm trying to think. I'd have to look back in Season 1, but I think you're right. That P.E.K.K.A double Prince has been out of favor for a long time, and at least the double Prince version won with Bakalol, but you're right, it wasn't one with Big P.E.K.K.A. So here we go. Naruto's got the Giant Bowler, pretty standard list, right? This is like the most standard Giant Bowler poison list you're going to find. Springtrap, though, the P.E.K.K.A fanboy is running his double P.E.K.K.A, his P.E.K.K.A 3 Musketeers deck. Ooh, buddy. I think I don't know, it's hard to say. If he plays 3 Musketeers on defense, I think Springtrap's going to have a lot better chance.
Yes.
You don't really want to be splitting your 3 Musketeers like a traditional 3 Musketeers deck here because the bowler is just going to wreck one of your lanes pretty bad. So I think you'd rather try to build more like a P.E.K.K.A deck and then you split the 3 Musketeers behind it because if they put the bowler on the 2 Muskie side, well then you have P.E.K.K.A 1 Musketeer on the other side, which is terrifying push. And we saw in one of the earlier games with this how effective that was.
All right, let's get into it. This is the game that we want to watch. On the verge of elimination, Springtrap just needs to win one more to face King K102 in the finals. Naruto, top 4, looking to make his first appearance in the finals, but is down 1 game. He's facing elimination. He does not have a buffer anymore. This is his last chance. Handshake.
Yep. Gentleman's agreement to start the game off. Let's both get some more elixir here in 70 seconds.
But who has the dagger in hand? The miner really is a dagger. We're like, yeah.
Oh, look, he's going to miner right now, I think. Because he's going to tank for the minions.
Oh, nice placement. That's the Woody. The top right or the bottom right corner or the top left corner of these towers.
Yep.
Tank up a lot of damage.
The defense went well there. I don't actually think that Springtrap's push was effective, but as long as they spent about the same amount of elixir, I guess it's probably okay. Another thing is it's nice you cycle a bunch of cheap cards through so you get back to your collector. Both of them now have it out, but because of the poison on Springtrap's collector, Uzumaki is pretty ahead in elixir advantage right now.
And he's playing the Giant Bowler, so that really stinks.
I think Springtrap doesn't want to play as P.E.K.K.A. I think he's waiting basically for the opportunity to drop P.E.K.K.A on defense, would be my guess.
And Springtrap buys it back. That was a good... I
don't really know if I like that placement. I'm not really sure why it was there instead of in the middle.
Yeah.
Because now the bowler rolls might actually hit the tower. It ends up not.
Well, what do you do about the right side? There's a P.E.K.K.A there.
You've got the guards. And the Ice Spirit. Oh, yeah.
Oh, but this Giant is swinging away.
Yeah, but for 4 elixir, I think that's a pretty good defense. It's an elixir-efficient defense if you're trying to push through.
God, zap it.
The P.E.K.K.A does not get the damage in,
but the minions.
The taking it. Look at those.
What is this? They're just opting to smack each other's towers without regard of their own safety.
And look at that. All the pumps are off the board, too. Springtraps is about to go off, right? It's about to run out. And we just saw very recently how they both had like 2 collectors out, and now we're already down to really low health. Like, they both basically opted to convert their elixir advantage into damage at that point. They didn't keep trying to snowball the advantage.
Yes. All right, Ice Wizard. We've seen this push 1,000,001 times. He's going for the collector.
I'm surprised he didn't go for the tower, but I wonder if he was worried about hitting the Giant.
He actually got the defense, too, with the mini P.E.K.K.A, and so...
And the big P.E.K.K.A is really smart there. I mean, it's going to meet at the river, maybe a little over. Oh,
nice.
No.
There we are.
No, 300 damage. Here's the thing. Uzumaki only needs 2 poisons, and I'm surprised that he hasn't at least tried, like, 1 poison on the tower there. That's a great poison there on the... Oh, he's
This is a big push. I think the Musketeer...
I think they're actually going to neutralize themselves, because the zap plus poison does kill the Musketeers, and he was able to stop it there. I'm just surprised that neither of them are being a little more aggressive with their tower attackers, because this game is going to go into overtime, and wouldn't you rather have that tower at under 200 health going into overtime? I'm so worried about how this could go. Oh, no. That Giant gets 1 punch in. Naruto's going to win this game.
Oh, God.
Oh, he doesn't. No.
The left
side. The tower's going. Oh, my God. The miner slips in there. I think he saw how much elixir was on the right side, and Springtrap just went for it, right? Like, I'm going to get my zap. I'm going to throw my miner up there. I'm going to try to steal it. That Giant stopping just one tile short of the tower was the difference in that game. Uzumaki could have tied it up. Unfortunately for him, Springtrap had that surprise minor.
Why are we playing like this? Why are the games happening like this?
Hey, that's what happens when you get a lot of really great players and mash them all together. So we have two players, Springtrap and King K, wait, 1 second, in their very first Super Magical Cup Finals. Actually, both players making the top 4 for the first time. Vizard and Uzumaki have been here before, but both of them dropped to newcomers Springtrap and King K.
Yeah.
And this will be the first time P.E.K.K.A.'s in the finals, first time Giant Skeleton's in the finals. No matter who wins, a card will make history. What a crazy event to finish. It's like we're not done with Season 2, but this is the last event of the current balance patch, the current meta. Everything's going to change come Monday, and everything has changed for us just this very weekend.
Yes. Goblin Barrel, Sparky, Giant Skeleton, P.E.K.K.A.
Wow. Oh my god.
Oh my
So who y'all rooting for in chat? Let us know. Let's get the game 1 pulled up.
King K 102. King K 102.
You want King K?
King K 102.
I'm a big fan of P.E.K.K.A.'s and Princes and the P.E.K.K.A. Princes, so I'm having a hard time. I think King K's story is great, but man,
Springtrap is
P.E.K.K.A. Princes.
So Springtrap has actually been playing. both King K 102 and Springtrap have been playing since the start of Season 2.
In the qualifiers.
Working in the qualifiers and just getting better and better and better. And they were not names in Season 1. At least maybe King K 102 played a few times in Season 1. But was definitely not a breakout name in any way, shape, or form. But they've made it all the way here. We've seen these decks so many times. I'm a fan. Hog Rider, Lumberjack, Giant Skeleton.
The crowd is like unanimously rooting for King K, by the way. We have like Patrick King is the only one who is like P.E.K.K.A. Princes. But everyone else, King K, King K, King K, King K, King K, King K, King K.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's take a look here at game 1. I would normally say that a deck that's heavy on like giant and melee characters wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe, but given how good Giant Skeleton is at the suicide bomb...
Do princes charge away from it?
No. Maybe. I'm not. It kind of depends on the placement. If they're on the far side, they're totally fine.
Yes.
If they're on the close side, I'm not sure. So I don't think they do though, because in my experience, Giant Skeleton on defense is like pretty much just as good as P.E.K.K.A. against double princes. So if you send double princes down the same lane, the 6 elixir Giant Skeleton not only like takes the hits on his belly, but does a decent amount of damage fighting back, and then he blows up on everything for not lethal, but a lot.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that Springtrap, like, normally is actually going to have a pretty good matchup here, but if any of those big Giant Skeleton bombs go off, it could be bad news. That could be a swingy moment. King K's playing both of his decks actually are very high risk, high reward. So it's kind of like Springtrap's slow, plotting inevitability against King K's gunslinging, risky plays.
All right, we're getting into it.
But an advantage for King K, and again, playing a homebrew deck is awesome. King K has some experience playing against P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince. Springtrap probably does not have any experience playing against this Giant Skeleton Hog Rider.
Not only Giant Skeleton, but Lumberjack, Hog Rider, kind of weirdo combinations.
Right. So he's already got the P.E.K.K.A. queued up, so he knows that he wants to fight the Giant Skeleton with the P.E.K.K.A. And actually getting some free damage there. Even for 3 elixir, that damage is, you're happy to take about 400 damage for 3 elixir. Oh no, and the Hog Rider rides right by.
The Ice Wizard is going to slow it down a little bit, but Poison is going to slow down the P.E.K.K.A. actually. And all this time, the Hog Rider is just being ignored. The 2 units in the back are trying to clean up the guards.
Yeah, the guards gummed it up.
And look at how low health the P.E.K.K.A. is. The bomb reduced so much of the P.E.K.K.A.'s health.
Right, and that the Dark Prince doesn't have a lot of hit points, so he's not going to make it to the tower.
He wants to wait for Giant Skeleton to put it in front of the tower. Oh, denied.
But the P.E.K.K.A. did get off about 2 swings, which is pretty relevant. Now, I don't know if the Prince is going to die, I think, but he might get some damage in. The Ice Wizard's chipping in. The game's actually a little closer than you think, though.
It's a bit even, yes.
And Springtrap, though, has an elixir advantage right now.
Yes.
So King K got a little ahead in damage, is a little behind in elixir. I think it's a fair trade. I would call this game even.
The scary thing to me is Springtrap was able to create that push off a counterattack, right? So what that means is King K1 gets first strike. In overtime, if he does that same push on the right side tower, he's going to win because there is no counterattack.
Right. Oh my god.
goodness.
Oh, that Hog Rider. You know what's interesting, though, is that with Inferno minor decks being so popular, when was the last time you saw a Cannon?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Cannon has really fallen out of favor. And these Hog Riders, even just like a Hog Rider, is pretty good because if you can stop the Lumberjack or the Mini P.E.K.K.A. that is usually what is the only defense they have against it, you can get a lot of damage there. Look at that. Wow.
Interesting that he chose not to use a Giant Skeleton on defense, but rather Lumberjack Minion, which is 7 elixir, and obviously did not prevent much damage on the tower.
Oh, here's another P.E.K.K.A. on defense. That's a pretty expensive defense. Like, you got to stop that thing from attacking, but the Hog Rider doesn't kill it, right? Any of those things start to kill it. So you had to play 6 elixir and kind of oh no! Here comes the Hog Rider again!
It was all a fake, and incidentally, that princess on the left side did a lot of damage, but King K102 plays a classic. Giant Skeleton on the left side causes a big commitment on the right, or on the left side as defense, and then plays a Hog Rider punish on the right.
Minions there just tore up that P.E.K.K.A. on the counterattack, and had no chance. Look at this, the Giant Skeleton. We're going to see it in action right here.
Every single time, there's not going to be any confusion for King K102 now. He's going to play the Skeleton because there's no need for counter-offensive.
Oof. So he only has 22 seconds left, King K does, in order to take down one of these towers. He's going down the lane that I think is a little dodgy.
Hog Rider distraction?
Oh, there's no Giant Skeleton. No, it does. The Ice Spirit lets him cycle back to his Giant Skeleton. So if he has any, if he needs it.
Oh no, the princess is actually, it needs 2 more shots, right?
Yeah, it needs 3 more shots, and then the zap isn't enough. The Ice Spirit is a significant amount on the other side. You know what really killed, I think, that really hurt Springtrap there was his poisons. He was using poison on the collector, but didn't really use them on his pushes that much.
Yes.
He really would have rather. One second, wait. Would have rather had poison to help guard those P.E.K.K.A.s and things like that, and instead the P.E.K.K.A.s were getting chewed up by minions over and over again.
Yes.
Wow. So King K takes game 1 of the finals.
What a close match. What a close match. And I really think that Springtrap could have won it.
Yeah.
He could have won it, but there was just some really great decisions that King K102 was making. Giant Skeleton on the left side saw the P.E.K.K.A. was committed, immediately went for a punish with his classic Guards, Hog Rider, Ice Spirit combination. And despite the fact that every single time the Hog Rider went in, it was able to get swing after swing, there's no defensive structure on Springtrap's deck. And so ideally, and that's interesting because Springtrap wasn't able to use Lumberjack or Mini P.E.K.K.A. in a way that was effective in killing off that Hog Rider. The Hog Rider did 3-4 swings every single time. That's efficient. One
thing that really impressed me was Ice Spirit is obviously an incredible card, right? But the ability for King K's first deck to cycle back to the Giant Skeleton by using Ice Spirit, Guard, Zap. Those cheap cards allow him to get right back to it. It's really hard to break through a Giant Skeleton push in the same way it's hard to break through an Inferno Tower push, and being able to cycle back to it regularly never gave Springtrap's expensive, slow deck an opening to get through.
Yes.
Springtrap decides to stick with the deck in game 2 of the finals. He's going to ride or die with his, if he's going to lose, he's going to lose with the deck that he's most familiar with. I think he has a better, I don't know. He actually might even have a worse matchup here than the first game because there's Sparky, right? Now you I play Double Prince, and Dark Prince is really good against Sparky because of the shield. And then you've got Ice Wizard to slow it down, Zap minions. He has a lot of tools to fight Sparky, but that's all on your side of the board.
Yes.
I'm wondering how Springtrap is going to be able to build a push that can get through against a defensive Sparky.
And the thing is, aside from all of that, there still exists a Giant Skeleton. You're still having to deal with the Giant Skeleton being pushed in front of your princes, taking the charge damage and exploding them afterwards.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Go for it.
All right.
And here we are, game 2 of the finals. Now remember, Springtrap needs to win with the Prince double P.E.K.K.A. deck, or sorry, P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck, in order to take it to a game 3. King K had to switch decks. He's not playing the Giant Skeleton Hog Rider deck that he played. He's playing his second deck, which is a Giant Skeleton Lumberjack Sparky deck. Very impressive. I love seeing innovative deck building. And then really, Springtrap too, like P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince is not what I would really call like a meta deck.
Yes, it is not its old deck.
Right. Well, it's a known archetype, but that's a little different from being like a defining meta deck. It's not something that when you say like, oh, I'm going to fight 5 random tournament games, I expect to see a P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince. It's usually not the case. Okay,
here it comes.
So the P.E.K.K.A.'s defending well against the Giant Skeleton, but with the Sparky behind it, Sparky's coming in good.
It's a bait for the zap. He lets one shot go. This bomb is going to take him down.
No. The shield came off.
The Lumberjack.
The bomb blew up the shield, and then that...
what do you zap? What do you zap? He wants to zap the Sparky, but you need to zap the barrel.
The tower's going. What is this? We've been a minute into the game.
What nothing is up. You're done.
The fatal flaw there was dropping Dark Prince too early.
Yes.
The Dark Prince came down early. The giant skeleton bomb took off the shield, and then Sparky one hit the Dark Prince. If he had come down a little later, that Sparky shot would have taken off the shield, but left the Dark Prince there to help fight it through.
Oh my god. That it just feels like King K102 is punching a baby. Springtrap.
A lot of experience punching babies.
The only damage that Springtrap has done is poisons on a tower. Meanwhile, King K102 is just, there goes one of your towers. One push.
This is Trainer Nick had a dream. Yeah. He had a dream where tanks and goblin barrels and Sparkies would all get along based on the content of their stats. And this dream is being realized right now by King
K102.
The Sparky Goblin Barrel. I'm going to go home and play Goblin Barrel like tonight.
Yes.
Like, absolutely.
Yes. Oh my god, and the P.E.K.K.A looked like it was just made out of paper. Giant skeleton bomb plus minions. Oh.
Ooh-wee.
And he's still playing the collector. You're getting poisoned every single time.
I think King K is thrilled to get poisoned every time. That means that he doesn't have poison on a big push. Yes. And it means that King K is not building up an aggressive move. So like, basically think of poison kind of like playing collector. It's an investment move. You're like, I'm at 10, I don't want to attack, I'm just going to poison your collector. But when he does that, that's a great opening for you to be like, all right, cool, I'll invest too. Like I have Giant Skeleton, I've got Sparky, I've got a million cards I can invest.
Yes. The Sparky might get the shot off. Oh no.
But now watch this. The shield's going to come off the Dark Prince, and the Dark Prince gets aced again. Twice in the game. Bonk.
Oh my god, and the P.E.K.K.A is not going to...
Yeah. At least that was a little better. I will say that was better than the last time.
Yeah. Oh, Princess.
Again, 8 seconds left. What do you do? What gets through here?
King K102, the
2-0
Super Magical Cup number 10 winner with Goblin Barrel, Sparky, Giant Skeleton in the other deck with a Hog Rider and a Lumberjack.
Double Giant Skeleton. Leicester City won the English Premier League this year on a 5,000 to 1 odds. And if you were taking bets on who was going to win and there was a double Giant Skeleton deck, I might have put 5,000 to 1 odds on that game. I never has a Giant Skeleton deck made the top 4 ever. And now we have not just 1, but 2 winning. A great cap to the story of King K, a player who has, since the start of Season 2, been very committed to playing in the Super Magical Cup qualifiers every week. He's gotten a lot of experience, a lot of reps against some of the best players in the game week in and week out. He's improved his invitational performance week after week, making, winning in the first round, making that top 16 but falling just short, making... this is his first top 8 ever this week, and he was determined to take home the title. 2-0s through Dan, 2-1s through Vizard, 2-0 Springtrap in the finals. His homebrew double Giant Skeleton decks take home the final Super Magical Cup before Monday's new patch and new balance update.
I think it's so amazing because we have now 2 new identities. King K102, not only is he kind of the champion slayer, Doomsday, right, the superhero killer, he is now a champion himself, and he has identified himself as the Giant Skeleton player. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Springtrap did incredibly well, taking second place, identifying himself as the P.E.K.K.A player. Yeah. And these players are doing really, really well on their decks. Absolutely. It's not easy to get to the finals of the Super Magical Cup, so taking first place and second place on these very, very unique characteristic decks, breaking out of the meta, showing that they can be used in a very effective manner. They had to win with both these decks all the way through to this point. And
I'm going to take a quick look at the point leaderboard because King K, because of his regular performance and his prior, top 16 performances, was like loosely in the point leaderboard thing somewhere. Where's King K at? So King K actually was down here at 166. We can't actually see it all. I could put it in. But he was in 42nd place. And with 500 points, moves into 566 points. And he has secured a spot at the Invitational. He is now in 12th place. So he could be in. And another story that we haven't really talked about too much is that at the start of Season 2, I would say in terms of clans, who are the best clans in the game, it was a 2-horse race. Mm-hmm. Elite Gaming won some of the very early ones. Reddit Alpha was winning back and forth. Reddit Alpha, boom, 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 trading. Last week, Patriots won from Clash Wars.
Yes.
I think that was Clash Wars' second or third title it might have been their second title of the season, because I think Marcus 35 was from there as well. So Marcus 35 takes one down, Patriots 34 takes down 2, and now King K of Clash Wars take down a 4th title. I got to take a look now. We actually got to compare, but I think Reddit Alpha, Clash Wars, and Elite Gaming are like really close in this standing of winners, top 8ers, top 4 performances.
Yes, I think so too, and it's all coming down to the wire right now. Only a few more opportunities left in Season 2 to qualify into the championship, which is coming up very soon. We will have the details announced to you guys as soon as all of it is settled, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. We're going to have a lot of fun.
It'll be bigger than anything we've ever done before by a pretty significant margin. So if you have been watching since Super Magical Cup Season 1, Tournament 1, you've seen how we've grown from a pretty small little community tournament to the lovely thing that you're seeing here today. It's only going to get better with Season 3, but Season 2 still has 2 weeks to go. Well, really 3, because we have the 24th. We have an invitational next week. We've got an invitational October 1st as well. We're going to take a break for the week between the championship, and then the championship is October 15th. So 2 more invitationals. We're going to have 12 total. And you know what? Every single winner will have enough points in order to make it. And there's a lot of opportunity for people who are regular, consistent, top 8ers, top 4s, qualifier players to earn their spot in there. Really, really looking forward to it. Oh, Marcus is an Elite Game. That's what it was. So Marcus 35 is in silent now. Okay. So Patriots 1-2. Oh, Marcus 35 is an Elite Game. Okay, I'm getting them mixed up. I think, honest to God, so there's been 10 so far. I think all 10 have been won by either Reddit Alpha, Elite Gaming, or Clash Wars. And like, if maybe there's one difference, there might be a 3-3-3 tie between those two. Like if one random person outside of one of the major clans won, I think there might. We'd have to go back and look. I don't have all the papers in front of me, but like, it's a pretty tight race between Reddit Alpha, Clash Wars, and Elite Gaming for who is the most consistent Super Magical Cup playing plan. The Invitational is going to be great because multiple players from these clans are going to be invited because they've had several winners. So we'll have some Clash War players against some Reddit Alpha players. It'll be really cool to see how that shakes out.
Lots of storylines to go through, and these players are starting to build a name for themselves and build identities, and we're going to have to start following their journeys. You know, in the Invitational, we're having to follow a lot of threads. Is Patriots the name to look out for, or is it King K102, or is it the old school Woody that's going to make it happen, or is it going to be Clyde, who is the last Invitational winner, or the last championship winner?
Good point. Clyde has also won a Super Magical Cup so far this season, so he has secured his spot for the the finals here. All right, guys. This has been great. The matches are, as usual, have been awesome.
The game is also going to change significantly in the next few weeks with the update coming out. We're going to be looking at a new landscape of Clash Royale meta, new storylines, new players, and a lot of things are happening. By the way, if you guys want to keep up with Clash Royale content, make sure you're following the Twitch if you haven't. Make sure you're following the YouTube if you're not, because there's some great videos coming out, and in about 30 minutes or so, there's going to be episode number 2.
That's right. So, okay, let me hype the YouTube number. So make sure to follow us here below on Twitch. Just a little button click. We can always use more of those, and you'll tune in every Saturday at noon Pacific for the live Super Magical Cup. But really, you should check out our YouTube channel as well, Super Magical Cup, all one word. Not only do we post every top 8 match, you can go rewatch these matches, recheck out the decks later. We post the full tournament footage as well if you want to catch the earlier rounds. We also have started to create several content series that have become pretty popular. We posted, Woody and I have discussed the most recent balance changes. You can see that video on our site. And at 3:30 here in 26 minutes, episode 2 of Royale Roundtable is going live. Royale Roundtable is a new series with Naders and myself as the host, where we grab great members of the Clash Royale community and just talk about the meta, about decks, about new things. Last week we had Woody and Clyde as the inaugural guests. Episode 2 has Hazard from Silent and a second place finisher in the Toronto Northern Arena tournament, and also Manu Fan, a member of the Super Magicals clan, a regular SMC competitor, and someone who also top 8'd the same Northern Arena Toronto tournament. A lot of great stories in it about meeting the other players, some of the behind the scenes stuff of what goes into big tournament play. Ladder discussion, we talk about the new balance updates. It's really great. It's about 40 minutes of discussion, so go check that out. And of course, Monday, enjoy your new build and try out some Mega Minion in the meantime.
Mega Minion. All right. Well, it's been an exciting week of Super Magical Cup competition.
Clash Wars apparently won the Clan Royale League too, so hats off to Clash Wars twice today. It's been a great day for Clash Wars.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Who is going to be their competitor? Who is going to rise up to the challenge?
Maybe the Super Magicals clan. We would love to actually enter Super Magicals as a clan of Super Magical Cup regulars. If you want to come on and stop by and get some tournament practice in, make sure to swing on by. Definitely check out Clan Royale League. We'd like to start to get involved in more of these team competitions. And of course, yeah, check out YouTube. Follow us on Twitter too, because sometimes we do extra random tournaments. It was only 2 weeks ago that we threw a 300-player tournament just for the sake of it. So check us out on Twitter. Whew, I'm out of breath.
It's hot. We need a nice wizard up in here. And I think that's about it from Rumham and Rainy this week on the Super Magical Cup. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're definitely following the action and keeping up with everything that's going on competitively in Clash Royale. And we will see you guys next week.